Surprisingly good weather. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Cricky with Bob Trumpy. The weather projections here yesterday for today's game were for football in a car wash. Winds up to 50 miles an hour with heavy rains, and so far, no wind and no rain, so that is an upset early, Trump. Both coaches are focusing on emotion coming into the game. Marty Schottenheimer of the Browns says you can be sure the game will turn on emotion. Jerry Glanville agrees, but Trump, he's concerned about how emotional his Oilers will be.
Yeah, Jerry Glanville said that all week long his players' chins were on the ground. And as of last night, he didn't think his team was really in the game. Said he was going to have a meeting late last night with the ball club, going to take a can of fuel in there. Hopefully somebody will light a match. He's not sure exactly emotionally how his team will play today. That's a lousy emotional state to be in this playoff game in front of 80,000 screaming Cleveland fans.
Glanville says that nobody plays as hard as we do. We're going to find out today, but he does get a break with the weather. They came in here last week. It was 8 degrees below zero chill factor. Today at kickoff, 40 degrees and not a lot of wind to contend with. There's Marty Schottenheimer, the man who runs the Cleveland Browns, and the Oilers have won the toss and they will receive to start the game. Schottenheimer, in his fourth full season as head coach of the Browns, has had a playoff team every year. 3 divisional champions, a wild card this season. Dropping back deep now for Houston, Lorenzo White. There is Matt Barr ready to kick off. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. So the Super Bowl tournament set to begin as Matt Barr is into the ball. Hits a high spinner downfield. And here comes Lorenzo White, the rookie from Michigan State. Breaks it across the 20, and Lorenzo White is out to about the 23-yard line. So the Oilers will go on offense, 1st and 10. With Warren Moon, their Pro Bowl quarterback. He'll back up Boomer Esiason in Honolulu in January. Running the offense, Mike Rozier went over 1,000 yards running the ball. Alonzo Highsmith from Miami of Florida averages 5 yards a rush. The receivers are phenomenal. They're both undersized, but big play after big play. They've caught 360 passes between them, Hill and Givens, over the past 3 seasons. No other combination in the NFL is close to that.
And of course, one of the things the Oilers want to do early is see if they can run the ball. Last week, they averaged 1.6 yards per carry, and Houston likes to run the football.
Well, they go to the power I set. The tight end Williams comes in motion. Crowd noise is unbelievable, and the Oilers have to check off. This Cleveland crowd can take it right out of the game. The opposing team is the running play by Alan Pinkett is shut down. Junkin, an inside backer, number 54, shot the gap and made the stop. 3 starting linemen for the Browns all started their NFL careers with other teams. A very sound front 3. Linebacking has a lot of speed on the flanks. Clay Matthews is one of the best in pro football. Grayson is a blitzer. Mike Johnson leads the team in tackles. All-pro cornerback Hanford Dixon is back today, starting after missing last week's game with Houston. 2nd down and 13. Now it comes up for the Oilers. They're standing with a crowd noise that is just unbelievable. Warren Moon is unable to run his offense.
Houston takes a timeout only because of the crowd noise, Don. Don, that timeout taken by Houston. Warren Moon was in the shotgun, and this is what's considered the quiet end of Cleveland Stadium. The fans are a long way away from where the players are, as opposed to down in the other end zone. So if Houston is already having trouble with the shotgun in their initial series, they may have to consider just flat getting out of it for the day.
Last Sunday, the Oilers took the Browns fans out of the game early when they built that big lead. Now on 2nd down and 13, Moon tries again from the shotgun. Tennyson is his center. He gets time. He's got an open man. Now it's picked off. The Browns pick it off. Mark Harper has the ball, and he is back inside the 35-yard line. Now that's Felix Wright with his 6th interception of the season. Wright and Harper converging on the ball. It's Wright that gets it, and now with his 6th interception, the Browns do to the Oilers just what the Oilers did to the Browns early last Sunday, intercepting Strock 3 times in the first quarter.
On the shotgun, Moon has trouble hanging on to it. There is no receiver close. And Felix Wright has made a career of intercepting Warren Moon, not only in the NFL, but also in the CFL. He's had 4 interceptions against Warren Moon. We just had a graphic on Moon's numbers. 6 touchdowns against Browns, now 16 interceptions.
So the Browns go first down and 10 with Don Strock at quarterback. Kevin Mack is in his backfield. They play fake to Mack as Strock swings it out. It goes to Mack near side. He's been out with injuries, and Kevin Mack booms ahead for very close to first down yardage. He has missed parts of 9 games. All are part of 9 games this season. A gain of 7 yards on the play. Strock at quarterback. Biner and Mack are the starters. Langhorne and Slaughter the wide receivers, coming off big games against the Oilers last Sunday. Ozzie Newsome, the veteran tight end. The offensive line with Farron, Bolden in at left guard, Riccozzi, Fike, and Risen. Risen's been a Pro Bowl player. Only high draft choice in that whole group was Riccozzi, who was a second rounder. Second down and 3 coming up now, almost 4 for the Cleveland Browns after the interception by Felix Wright of Warren Moon. Lost footing by Kevin Mack. And the knockdown will be made at about the line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up third down and about 4. Ray Childress will be going to the Pro Bowl, the left defensive end for the Oilers. Richard Byrd and William Fuller, the other 2 down linemen. Meads, the right side backer, blitzes virtually every play. Grimsley is the leading tackler for the Oilers. Lyles is the emotional leader. Good secondary. Bostic's been a first-team All-Pro player. The Oilers think Donaldson, their free safety, is one of their best players. Loss of about a yard. Third down and almost 5. Ball positioned at the 28-yard line.
Houston with 10 guys at the line of scrimmage, Don. Blitz coming.
Throw and a catch for a first down. Webster Slaughter comes out the left flank, and here's a penalty marker on top of the tackle. Patrick Allen, who was victimized often last Sunday, was the man they went at again on the post pattern. Donaldson was on the tackle, may be late.
That's either a 5-yard penalty or a 15-yard penalty against Houston on top of the reception.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Jerry Seaman, the referee, as you see them go right back at Patrick Allen. Trump.
Nice move by Webster Slaughter, too. When you have a field that's kind of slippery, it always favors the receiver because he knows where he's going. And in the pregame, Paul and Ahmad mentioned that Houston wants to play that man-to-man bump-and-run coverage. First slant pattern completion.
And it's first and 10. Slaughter beat Allen, you'll remember, last Sunday for the winning touchdown. Handoff. Biner, not much there as he gets down close to the 15-yard line on a first down carry. Result gain only about 1 yard. Meads made the tackle.
He was coming on the blitz, Johnny Meads, 91 from the outside. Well, they got to Kevin Mack just as the ball is handed off to the running back. You see him coming from the outside, and he just gets there before really anybody can lay a glove on him. Kevin Mack, 34 at the left side of the screen, tried to get him, and that really disturbed the run.
So the Browns send Langhorne now wide to the right. Slaughter to the left. In the first half last week, the Browns ran on first down virtually every time and didn't go anywhere. In the second half, they passed on first down and came from behind. Run. Biner on second down and 11. Tough Ernest Biner cracks right at the Houston defense and takes it down close to the 12-yard line, where Steve Brown and John Grimsley made the knockdown.
See the way the Cleveland Browns have gotten here. 2 years ago, they had 2,000-yard rushers in Mack and Biner, but because of the injuries to Mack this year, missing all or parts of 10 games, they've had to go with the pass. And you see the Cleveland Browns in this Super Bowl tournament rather unique in that they throw it more than they run it.
Thought Strock Trump had an interesting observation, and they asked him how he made the comeback happen. He said there's no 20-point touchdowns when you're that far down. You try to score one, then build on the next one. And with patience, he brought the Browns to victory. And now the Browns misfire. They didn't get it off within the allotted time. So a delay of game call against Cleveland changes the down and yardage from 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 11.
Delay of game. Offense. Still 3rd down.
Cleveland is the only team in the American Conference that's made the playoffs the last 4 years. Only 2 in the NFC have, the 49ers and the Bears.
Of course, this is their 6th trip to the playoffs in the 80s, coming off 3 straight division championships. Marty Schottenheimer, not only the head coach this year, also the offensive coordinator.
And now Straka lines in the shotgun. Weathers is in the game, and so is Brian Brennan. Strock gets time. He's going for the end zone. Weathers is there, but they overshoot. So Clarence Weathers, running the out pattern, had a step on the defense. Domingo Bryant, he really hurt Strock last week with 2 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown.
Watch Brian Brennan, sure-handed 3rd down receiver. You can see Richard Johnson, 23, gets a hold of that shirt. Make sure that he's got control of Brian Brennan. I guess that's considered the initial chuck, which is allowed.
This will be a 33 to 34-yard field goal attempt by Matt Barr, who's been kicking very well. 9:48 to go in the first quarter, and the first points are on the board as the Cleveland Browns capitalize on a turnover. The interception of Warren Moon by Felix Wright subsequently turned into a field goal by Matt Barr. 3-0 Browns. Home and on the road. They like it at the Astrodome, where they're 7-1 this season, but they've had problems on the road. 3-5, have not won here, as Bob Costas pointed out in the pregame show, since 1981. Their regulars haven't in Cleveland Stadium. Their replacement team won here last season during the strike. Warren Moon's had his problems with the Browns, but he's having his best year, going to the Pro Bowl. There's the man who victimized him on that first possession, Felix Wright, having a standout year at safety for the Cleveland Browns with the interception that was turned into 3 on the Barr field goal. Winds are coming up now, Trump. The ball just blowing off the kicking tee.
Expecting wind gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour sometime late today, which would really change around this football game.
Line drive kick downfield. It'll be tough to handle, as coming up on the ball is Pinkett, and he is destroyed. Alan Pinkett is flattened. A little runner from Notre Dame. Tony Baker came down and got him. Another running back for the Cleveland Browns.
Don, did you see that kick? At the end of it, when it hit the ground, it just stuck in the mud. It didn't bounce because it stuck, and we've got a penalty flag too. Watch the ball. See the way it just sticks. We got a holding call against Houston too, so they're going to get backed up, but no bounce out of that ball whatsoever, and that really put the Houston Oilers receiver there, Alan Pinkett, in jeopardy. So they get a bad kickoff return and a penalty on top of it, and bad field position now once again for Houston.
Kevin Mack, a big part of the Cleveland offense, their best runner back today.
Number 54 receiving team going to return. First down.
Hit on Pinkett is a holding call against the Oilers on the return, so they come out misfiring. An interception of Warren Moon on the Oilers' first possession turned into the 3-0 Cleveland lead. And now, with the crowd against them, the Oilers have to go the long field from their 8-yard line. Mike Rozier is in as a wide receiver at the lower left-hand portion of your screen. Handoff. They go to their power back. Alonzo Highsmith is cut down by the Cleveland defenders. Golick, the nose tackle, was the first to get a shoulder on him. Oilers are the 4th best rushing team overall, and they run the ball the 3rd most in the NFL. They eschew the pass, go to the run. It's worked very well for them. They average just over 4 yards a carry, 4th best in the NFL. Browns are near the bottom in running the ball. They were 24th in the league in rushing. Nobody ran last week on a frozen field here in Cleveland. 2nd down and 9. Throwing a catch as Alan Pinkett comes out of the backfield and fights his way out to the 19-yard line. And he has a first down for the Oilers. Elusive Alan Pinkett, who's the all-time leading rusher in Notre Dame football history. Came in as a third-round draft choice, getting more and more work this year, his third season.
Don closest man in coverage was Will Hill. You saw Hanford-Dixon 29 slip as he's trying to break for the receiver. We saw Kevin Mack slip a little bit on offense, and now Hanford-Dixon slipping a little bit.
Browns lead 3-0. Oilers have the ball. First down and 10 at their 19. Lorenzo White, who led the Big Ten in rushing 4 straight years at Michigan State, over 4,500 career yards there. And more impressively, he averaged 4.6 yards a carry for the Spartans when they knew he was getting the ball every down, the defenders.
On so far, Cleveland, their defensive line is doing a great job. Look, just standing those people up. So there's no place for these running backs to go. Now, Rozier's run it, Highsmith has run it, and now they've got Lorenzo White running it. When in fact, it's the guys up front who are not getting it done to this point. This is a very, very versatile defense that Cleveland has. A lot of movement, a lot of great foot speed.
They show different fronts every down as you see 2nd down and 6 for the Oilers. Pitch back. Pinkett breaks it for the moment, and Alan Pinkett with that great burst gets ahead close to the 34-yard line. A gain of 12 yards on the play. So while the Oilers didn't say it, Trump, apparently Rozier's ribs are bothering more than we were led to believe, because he's just been in one play as a decoy at wide receiver.
One thing the Houston Oilers offense likes to do is trap. You see Bruce Matthews 74 coming out on Clay Matthews. Pennison 52 gets Clay on the ground. Bruce finishes off, and Pinkett gets out there for a 12-yard pickup. That trap worked beautifully.
Now Lorenzo White is in as the eye back for the Oilers on 1st down and 10.
Hand signals once again because of the noise.
5 seconds to go as you see. They get the play away. Moon swings it out to Lorenzo White. And he'll not go far, out to the 33-yard line, where inside linebacker Mike Junkin, number 54, got him. Junkin was a high #1 draft choice of the Browns 2 years ago out of Duke. Had injury problems, has started to come on late this season.
Houston does a great deal of audibilizing at the line of scrimmage. And so far in this first 7 or 8 minutes of the first quarter, Moon having a great deal of trouble getting the audibles that are allowed him by Jerry Glanville. It's a big part of their offense. If they can't use it, they're stuck without one of their best tricks.
2nd and 9 for Warren Moon and the Oilers. Pitch back Lorenzo White. And the Browns come calling with 3 linebackers shedding the block to get at him. Dave Grayson and Clay Matthews, the outside backers, knocked him down. Lorenzo White is a noted bad field runner. He has enormous feet, 14.5 triple E. He can get some traction on a bad terrain.
Big assist to Sam Clancy, 91. It was not a good block by Bruce Matthews, 74. That allowed Clancy to get out there, and Clay Matthews makes the tackle. Maybe the best outside linebacker or inside linebacker in the AFC.
Jerry Glanville says of Matthews, you look at a game film, he jumps out at you. 3rd down and less than 1, and they're going to put it up. Throw downfield and a catch, or 3rd down and 10, excuse me, for a 1st down out to the 46-yard line. As Stephen Braggs was defending on the play, it was a 13-yard gain to Drew Hill.
Hill, another 1,000-yard season for the Houston Oilers. This time he's working on Hanford-Dixon. This is zone. You can see Dixon moving out, and Drew Hill just stops inside, finds the dead spot between Washington and Braggs. Moon puts it right on the money.
We have 4 minutes and 29 seconds to play in the first quarter. The Cleveland Browns lead the game 3-0 on Barr's 33-yard field goal that followed an interception of Warren Moon by Felix Wright. Oilers in possession a second time. They started back at their own 8, and they're moving the ball here. Here's a swing pass. Alonzo Highsmith breaks it into the open field and gets down to the 47-yard line of the Browns. An 8-yard gain on the play. Junkin was again on the stop for Cleveland, Trump.
And one of the ways you shut down a pass rush or slow a blitz is to come with the screen pass. That's twice now we've seen Houston come with the screen. Both times it's worked and worked reasonably well. That time to Highsmith, and if you can just trick the defensive line for a split second, you can get a running back out there for a quick pickup of 8 or 9 yards.
Highsmith was the third player picked in the entire draft out of Miami of Florida. Has not been happy with the limited amount of work he's gotten. Second down and 2, Houston. Pinkett rockets into the gap and gets ahead for a first down. The Oilers might have the best offensive line in football. The starting guards, Munchak and Bruce Matthews, will both be starters for the AFC in the Pro Bowl. Dean Steinkuhler, the right tackle from Nebraska, won both the Outland and Lombardi Awards as a senior for the Huskers.
This Houston Oilers team has 11 first-round draft choices, and 3 of them are on that offensive line. You just mentioned them. Munchak, Matthews, and also Steinkuhler.
Warren Moon, who was going downfield to his wide receivers last Sunday, has been hitting his backs a lot today. And the Oilers are moving the ball on the second drive. Free ball. Warren Moon finds it, but he loses about 7 or 8 yards. Bob Golick was quickly in on him, number 79 for Cleveland.
That ball seemed to go right through Warren Moon's hands as if he was not ready for the snap. This is a mistake in a game like this that you can't afford. No, he's ready. Oh, Pennison can't get it off the ground. He never got the thing up. It slipped out of his hand. Boy, is that lucky for Houston that it bounces back there for the quarterback to pick it up. Pennison has a glove on one hand, and his snapping hand does not have a glove on it, but it slipped right out.
Tough down now for Warren Moon. Second down and 17. Wrong side of his intended receiver at the 40-yard line. Drew Hill couldn't make a play on the ball. Mark Harper was right with him, 23. And so now third down and 17 arises for the Houston Oilers. Drew Hill, 85, having a phenomenal year. He caught 72 passes. He'll start in the Pro Bowl for the AFC. 10 for touchdowns. Had almost 1,200 receiving yards this year. His 9th year out of Georgia Tech.
He and Givens once again combined for the most receiving yards in a season. They were second last year. Neither one of those kids is very big. Hill about 5'9", 170. Givens maybe a little smaller, but they'll catch it over the middle.
They're down at 17. They're looking at him now. Here's a long ball and out to Curtis Duncan, who's knocked out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Frank Minifield covering on the play. Duncan, a very fast wide receiver from Northwestern, ran it down and out as Minifield had backed off, and a good throw by Warren Moon.
Ron, we mentioned the Cleveland Browns don't like to play zone, but watch the safety drop here. You'll see the corner over the side drop out, and then the receiver just finds the dead spot in the zone. Cleveland does not want to play zone, but with the bad footing, you can see the defensive backs dropping off, and the out pattern is there for a big pickup. This is not a defense that Cleveland prefers to play. They want to get up there and bump and run and intimidate the receivers as best they can.
Two minutes and 4 seconds to go in the first quarter. Cleveland Browns lead the game 3-0 on the Matt Barr 33-yard field goal. 14th play of this drive coming up. The ball will be positioned at just inside the 33-yard line of the Browns.
This drive started at their own 9-yard line. They have done a spectacular job on this particular drive of really mixing it up. The screen, the pass to the middle, recognizing the zone and going with the out.
They get the first down on the spot. So the Oilers moving the ball very impressively on the second drive, which started at the closed end of Cleveland Stadium on the Oilers' 8-yard line. High back, deep back, Lorenzo White. Up back is Alonzo Highsmith as they get set to run to Lorenzo White gets it inside the 30 on the first down carry down to the 29-yard line. Felix Wright was on the tackle on the play.
And they caught the Cleveland Browns in a blitz. You can see that this offensive line is a lot bigger than the Cleveland defensive line. But that time they run right at Clay Matthews. He's got an inside blitz, and they get the ball outside.
1:35 to go, first quarter. Second down and 7 coming up. Oilers had great disappointment last weekend. At the start of the weekend, they had a chance, they thought, to win the AFC Central. Then the Bengals came back and beat the Redskins in overtime, and the divisional title was not theirs. Cincinnati won it. And they had a chance for the home field by beating Cleveland at a 23-7 lead and couldn't hold it. Option run by Warren Moon on a second down and 7 carry. He's down close to the 27-yard line. Felix Wright came up from the free safety to hit him.
Michael Dean Perry did a good job too. Jumped inside the offensive right guard, and he was really there to make Warren Moon. Grabbed a hold of his shirt. Moon couldn't really run the option the way he wants. I'll identify Michael Dean Perry here. He's sitting right over the guard. Matthews, watch him jump inside the block, and that's what really ruins the option. See there? He's right there to grab a hold of Warren Moon's jersey. Moon can do nothing with it. Picks up a couple of yards, which is a very good play.
Haywood Jeffries goes on the left flank. Duncan on the right flank. As they keep Hill and Givens inside and swing it out to Drew Hill, and he's inside the 20-yard line. And on a 3rd down and 5 play, the Oilers are ahead for a gain of 10 yards and a first down.
Don, does this offense look similar to what Miami runs? Backs out of the backfield, wide receivers running short routes. In the second to last game of the regular season, Miami got to this Cleveland defense for 400 yards. And I think they exposed this defense a little bit. Houston last week did the same thing. A lot of things out in the flat, the short patterns, and it's really gotten them down the field today. Houston.
This is a very, very important drive for the Oilers after an early mistake that led to Cleveland points, a field goal. The Oilers now possibly driving towards a go-ahead score. Pitch back. Lorenzo White at 210 pounds cracks again inside. This time the 15-yard line. Cutting back right at the linebacker Junkin and Johnson. It's a gain on the play of 2 yards. 2nd and 8.
Again, a nice little trap. You see the 74 Matthews pulley kind of leaves the picture, and then Junkin coming from the inside. These are very, very mobile linebackers as the quarter ends. They make a lot of tackles away from the play.
And that'll do it for the first quarter. Browns 3-0. With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at Cleveland, where we've been waiting for bad weather, and it just got here. Dry and no wind at the outset. Now the winds that could gust to 50 miles an hour are starting to sweep in off Lake Erie. There was serious concern that Cleveland Stadium, that is normally on Lake Erie, could be in Lake Erie before this one was over, with an inch of rain forecast. Rain is falling, not that heavy, but the winds have really come up. Second and 8. Houston trails 3-0. Pass goes, and Alan Pinkett finds a way, and he goes in. Alan Pinkett, who at 5'9", 185 pounds when he was at Notre Dame, was one of the 3 strongest players in the entire team, uses that strength here to break tackles, and he cracks in, and all of a sudden the Oilers rally on a long drive, 92 yards, and they go in for the go-ahead score. They lead at 6-3.
In 17 plays, Pinkett breaks the tackle of Frank Minifield, considered one of the best tacklers on the team. Watch this now. Minifield's got to make that tackle. Pinkett, as you said, with that great leg strength, breaks it. Junkin misses him, gets it into the end zone on a 2nd and 8.
Run that drive.
Boy, with the wind blowing now and the rain, that's a big touchdown for Houston.
He knows where the end zone is. That's his 10th touchdown, Alan Pinkett. And Zendejas, kicking in very poor conditions now, delivers the extra point. And so with just 7 seconds gone in the second quarter, the Oilers on a long drive rally to take the lead, to the joy of Coach Glanville.
The AFC Wildcard game is brought to you by Dodge Cars and Trucks. On the street or off the road, it's the new spirit of Dodge. By AT&T, the right choice. And by Coors Light. There's no slowing down with a silver bullet. It's the right beer now.
Oilers have just gone 92 yards for the go-ahead score. Alan Pinkett getting a swing pass and crashing in, and it's now a 7-3 game. Houston. Second longest drive of this season for the Oilers, officially 91. They went 98 for a score and a win over the Eagles.
That's got to hurt Cleveland's feelings. This defense is not a defense that historically has given up long drives in 88.
Zendejas set to kick off, and he delivers downfield deep. It'll now come out. Taken 8 yards deep in the end zone. And so the Browns will elect to go from their 20, 1st and 10. It is 7-3. The Houston Oilers have taken the lead, and if Jerry Glanville was concerned about some emotion in his team, Trump, he certainly got a lot there. They fueled the tank with a 91-yard, 17-play drive.
A very gutty drive, too. They had some 2nd and 8s and some 3rd and longs that they converted there, and I repeat what I said just earlier, that I think Cleveland felt coming into this game that the Houston Oilers couldn't drive the ball long on them, that they probably would try to go deep. So that's got to hurt Cleveland's feelings a little bit, and now the emotion back on the side of Houston.
Well, both these teams are good at coming from behind, particularly the Browns have come from behind in 3 of their last 4 games to win. Last Sunday down 23-7. Winds are starting to pick up even more, and the rain's getting heavier. So these early points could be very large before this is over. First down and 10 now for the Browns. Loose ball. Oilers have it at the 16-yard line. Richard Byrd, the nose tackle, shot the gap, and so there was a huge look at these Oilers on the sideline doing these weird dances to celebrate a turnover.
Jerry Glanville told us last night one of the things that his team needs in every game is to bring their personality to the stadium. They want to hammer that line of scrimmage. You see that Don Strock never gets the ball from the center, Rakosi. Byrd is the nose tackle, 71, shoots right by Rakosi to make the fumble recovery. I couldn't really tell whether Rakosi didn't get it up there or Strock moved out. There's no question now. Again, Cleveland kind of stepping on its own foot, just as they did last week against this team.
So the Oilers, who scored on a 17-play drive on the long drive, now go to Alan Pinkett, who turns the corner, and Alan Pinkett's inside the 5, and again he goes into the end zone for a touchdown. With breakaway speed, Alan Pinkett turns the corner, outruns the cornerback, and gets a 16-yard touchdown run. And the emotion has been taken out of this Cleveland crowd of almost 80,000 as the Oilers on consecutive possessions have put touchdowns up and lead 13-3.
That is a beautiful cutback. This play is designed to go right. He's running right at Clay Matthews and then gets back outside. It appears someone loses containment. The outside guy, Sam Clancy, 91, the defensive end. You're supposed to contain that run. And the Houston Oilers sideline, they recognize what's coming. Domingo Bryant, Richard Byrd, the guy in the fumble recovery. 6 points, Houston.
And Zendejas hits the extra point up and good. And so with 14:38 to play in the first half, it is 14-3 Oilers. The Cleveland dilemma, with Houston scoring on its last 2 possessions to go up 14-3, has been compounded now by an injury to Don Strock, their veteran quarterback, and that's Mike Pagel on the right. He too missed much of the season with injuries, but it looks like he's going to come in, Trump.
He has not played since after the Seattle game. Bernie Kosar inactive, cannot play. So if Pagel, just activated this week, goes in there, had a real bad shoulder injury, and he's just beginning to feel the adhesions in his shoulder break up a little bit.
Zendejas kicks off. Glenn Young and Gerald McNeil are back deep. This is McNeil backpedaling, and he won't bring it out from 8 yards deep. Oilers pride themselves on special teams. Their motto is hit the beach.
Don, if we go back to that fumble recovery, that's obviously where Don Strock got hurt. Now, Rakosi is the center, and it appears to me he does not get the ball up to the quarterback. See how short it is? And then in Strock, when he turns around to reach for the football, lands on his wrist right there, his right wrist. And that may have been where he hyperextended it. He's still being attended to, and Pagel is in the game.
Mike Pagel out of Arizona State. Big, strong, 6'2", 220 pounds. Had a chance to talk with him for a long time before the game about what they might want to do. They're looking for a blitz and to go to that hot area when they can, and when they run the ball, they're going to try to bounce to the outside. Oiler linebackers play way off the ball, as you'll see, and they run to the line of scrimmage at the snap. Watch him come up. As they play fake now, and Pagel does swing it out into the open end to Feiner, and he's ahead across the 25-yard line, out close to the 28.
Well, this franchise in 1988 has gone through some quarterbacks, haven't they?
Well, they lost Bernie Kosar in the opening game for 6 weeks with an elbow injury against Kansas City. Danielson broke his ankle and was out for the rest of the year in the next one. Next game, Pagel, as you mentioned, Trump had the shoulder injury. Now Kosar's gone out again, and Don Strock injured on the last series on the fumble.
He's going in for x-rays too. Don Strock is too. He's on the sideline with the cape on, and he's heading in for the x-ray machine.
Handoff. Mack doesn't get much as John Grimsley runs him down inside backer. On a 2nd down and 2 play, there's going to be a loss for the Cleveland Browns.
And you mentioned the depth of those middle linebackers. Jerry Glanville likes the first step at the line of scrimmage. Attack. Grimsley, 59. Big Toe Smith, Al Smith, 54. Very, very aggressive defense. And now with a lead, slippery footing, and a quarterback who hasn't played in 10 weeks, they're going to be coming out of their shorts blitzing this team.
It happened fast in this game for the Oilers. They scored their 2 touchdowns in 15 seconds elapsed time on the clock. First came at 14:53 of the 2nd quarter, the next at 14:38. 3rd down and a long 4 coming up. Hagel throws a strike. Nicely done. It's picked up by Langhorne as he crosses the 30. And he'll be ahead for a first down.
Don Pagel's done a great job in his first 2 passes. He's beaten a blitz both times. Threw the ball to Biner out in the flat. This time gets the ball to Langhorne, makes the correct read. You see the blitz at him. Langhorne turns outside. Bostic not close enough. A reception. The relief quarterbacks for this team have been extraordinary in 1988.
They've had to be. This team getting in the playoffs with a rash of injuries that's mind-boggling. Now to yet another quarterback, Mike Pagel. Quick drop, nothing there, and he dumps it over the middle nicely. Again, he goes to Langhorne, but trying to cut back, he loses some yards. Was ahead for a gain of about 5 and lost 3 cutting back, so it'll be 2nd down and 2. Al Smith, inside backer, number 54 on the stop for the Oilers.
Now, the problem that Mike Pagel is going to have is a problem that every quarterback who's been out for a long time has when he comes in the game. Everything moves so quickly around you when you're in a football game as opposed to practice that at times it's just a blur. And you have to get used to that as quickly as you possibly can. And with a blitzing team like Houston, he's got a lot of people to look at.
Slaughter is wide left. They'll be looking at him soon. He had caught 6 for 136 yards last Sunday, and he did it against the man he's up against now, Patrick Allen. He's looking, and he goes to Slaughter, but he waited, and Slaughter saw the defense converge on him, and they keep going after the hit. So Pagel wanted Webster Slaughter all the way, but pump faking, he allowed the defender some time to close.
He ran the slant pattern. You see Houston dropping off in zone. He's asking for the ball, and Pagel's late getting there. Eugene Seal, 53, comes underneath. Donaldson, 31, makes the hit. And there's always pushing and shoving after every play here. And when these two teams meet, 3rd and 8 now for Cleveland.
Nice to be on the home field when you're calling the shotgun, able to hear signals now as the crowd's down. Here's a throw, and somehow Clarence Weathers catches the ball. And Weathers breaks it across midfield on a 3rd and 8 play, and he's down to the 48-yard line, and a marker down also trumped there.
18 yards on the catch. I thought the ball was going to be intercepted. Steve Brown was the man in coverage. Look at Pagel looking around. He's desperate here. He's trying to find somebody, and then Bostic is the man in coverage, almost tips it away. Weathers stays on his feet. Little guy with great ability. Pagel does a great job. Sean Jones, 96, right in his face.
Personal foul.
Sean Jones has really changed the whole defense of the Oilers on passing downs. He has constant pressure on him, but there's a face mask call.
It's a big one, too, 15 yards.
That is measured by degrees. It can be 5, 10, or 15, depending on how severe the infraction according to the official. So that must have been ruled intentional as the ball is positioned at the 32-yard line of the Oilers.
Here's Weathers carrying the ball. You can see him hanging on to the face mask all the way down. Marty Schottenheimer is yelling and screaming, and they get the major penalty.
Cleveland is never out of the game. These guys are in the playoffs for the 4th straight year, and they've done it year after year coming from behind. They trail right now 14-3. Handoff. Breaking it open is Ernest Biner, and he's down to the 22-yard line. A first down carry is good for 10 yards.
Jeff Donaldson, the free safety. Boy, this is a team that plays on emotion. This is a great job up front by the offensive line. It'll come to our left. You see him pushing and shoving. They cut off the nose tackle. Doug Smith, 99, and Biner up through there quickly. Nice move. The longest run of the day. Brings up 2nd and 1.
Browns came back a week ago in worse conditions than this. The rain has really stopped now. Winds are still kicking up.
Speaking of kicking up.
Kevin Mack turns the corner, and this big back from Clemson, who's been to the Pro Bowl in 2 of his previous 3 years in the NFL, gets ahead on a 2nd and 1 for a first down, and now school's out.
Flags again. Jeff Donaldson, 31, is up there against Webster Slaughter. The play is already done. Who do they get? The first guy or the guy who retaliates? Slaughter has that cast on his left wrist.
There is one tough customer. And there's another.
He has a plate in his left forearm.
He missed 8 weeks with a broken arm. Well, he had it all back when he came back, though. He came back in the Miami game, and then last week caught 6 for 136, including the winning touchdown.
Stakes will be set. It will be first down.
Now, we can't hear Jerry Seaman's microphone, but it's against Webster Slaughter. That's a 15-yard penalty against Webster Slaughter. So it'll be a first down and 25.
Penalty came after the first down run
That was personal
by
foul
Kevin
on
Mack.
necessary roughness, number 84 offense, after the ball was out of bounds. First and 25.
It's always the retaliator, isn't it?
Always get the second guy. You got to keep your poise out here in games like this, though, because this is what Houston wants to do to you. Get you out of your game a little bit and have you make dumb plays like Webster Slaughter just did.
Mike Pagel with the deep drop on first and long yardage. He's going downfield and he makes the connection. Brian Brennan makes the reception inside the 10-yard line. Good for a 26-yard gain on a first and 25 play. So a hero week for the Cleveland Browns, and Mike Pagel is laying claim to that early as the Browns start to rally back.
Patrick Allen, Richard Johnson, the 2 men in coverage, and somehow Pagel gets this ball in. Here you see Brennan leave the screen. Now watch, the defensive back has great coverage on Brennan. And Pagel throws it right over the outstretched arms of Patrick Allen, and he makes the catch.
This drive started on the Cleveland 20 after the Houston kickoff. Now the Browns have advanced it all the way down inside the 11-yard line of the Houston Oilers. It's first and 10. First and just over 10 for a touchdown. Marty Schottenheimer looking at the play sheet that's working. He has really functioned, Trump, as the offensive coordinator since Lindy Infante went to Green Bay.
A lot of people in Cleveland don't like that. But the news for the people in Cleveland is it's going to continue next year, whether the fans like it or not. Schottenheimer will continue to be the offensive coordinator.
It's a long road to Miami for these wild card teams to get there. Winner has to go to Buffalo next weekend in a divisional playoff game. And then either to Cincinnati or Seattle. Straight ahead carry. Biner, both arms on the ball, protecting against the turnover, and he's down to the 5-yard line. We have as many hits after the whistles we have with it.
5-yard pickup. A good cutback again by Ernest Biner. His offensive line has been very much maligned in 1988, but in this drive doing a great job. Newsom comes out. Derek Tennell in at tight end. A little more blocking.
Kevin Mack is the setback. They usually, on 2nd and 5, run right when the lead back is deployed that way, and that's where Biner is, and that's where they're running is Mack Takes it inside the 5-yard line on a second down carry. He's down close to the 3. Outside linebacker Johnny Meade was on the stop along with John Grimsley.
On his Houston defensive line, really a handful for the Houston offensive line. They're going to try to isolate Richard Byrd and also Grimsley. Watch the way they flow to the ball. Richard Byrd is able to get his head by the center, Riccozzi. That gives Mack no place to go. And then coming from the backside to make the tackle is Johnny Meades. Very aggressive defense at the line of scrimmage by Houston.
Cleveland looks for power blocking. This time the lead back is deployed to the left. It's Fontenot who might swing out. 3rd down and 4. Pagel takes a look, going into the end zone, but he overthrows intentionally. The coverage was there and the rush was on. Oilers were coming at Pagel and they were coming hard.
Pagel did a good job of getting rid of the football. Webster Slaughter is out there on Patrick Allen. He runs the corner route, and if Pagel has time, he may be able to make the completion, but Pagel was certainly rushed by the blitz of Houston.
So the Cleveland drive stalls, and now on 4th down, it'll be a chip shot field goal attempt by Matt Barr. The hold by punter Max Runager will be at the 12-yard line, 22-yard field goal. Let's see if Cleveland left early, and it looks like Houston was offside, and that could give the Browns a 1st down.
Absolutely. That's against Houston.
Well, they'll be just short of a 1st down because it'll be half the distance, not 5 yards. They're inside the 5.
That will still give them a 1st down, Don. Now you got to remember that on extra point and field goals, a lot of teams have their players up in a 2-point, so they can move around. Once you put that hand on the ground in a 3-point, you can't move at all. Here's Jerry Seaman with the call, a big one.
False start prior to the snap. One of the guards. Repeat 4th down.
The Browns on it.
Now wait a minute. I'm telling you, they got the guard. We got a look right here at the guard on the from behind the kicker, and the guard did not move. Let's look at. There you see both guards. Well, you see the leg move of the guard, but I mean on offense, boy, that is a tough call. That is a very difficult call to make.
But if they made it, it's now official, so the ball is positioned at the 7-yard line with 8:37 to go in the 1st half. 14-3, the Oilers lead. Sean Jones is down, the big pass rusher, the former Raider. Right hamstring. 6'7", 280-pound Sean Jones, who's been a major force in Houston's blossoming pass rush. Coach Glanville gets the Coat Award today.
He's also got a leg brace on his left leg. Got hit last week, as someone in the pregame said. He's got looks like they're massaging a cramp in his leg. Glanville has his knee brace, which normally comes in blue, in black. Look at that. They're massaging a cramp there in his leg. There's Jerry Glanville with the slight limp. May need surgery on his leg. Got hit last week. And
one of his own receivers, Leonard Harris, took him out. Said they used to say I'd never make it when I was coach at Detroit and rode a motorcycle to practice, Glanville said. Never thought I'd go down when one of my own receivers got me in warm-ups.
But he did say he hit me good.
And a reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Glanville did not endear himself to Cleveland fans, even though he grew up nearby Toledo. So the good thing about playing in Cleveland is you get to leave after the game.
Oh, another whistle.
A lot of people in the Oiler organization weren't happy about that because they just made a tough situation worse. One thing the Oilers have going for them at this end, Trump, there's no snow up in that dog pound.
Paul McGuire ate all the biscuits, so there's nothing left to throw.
Matt Barr spins the field goal up and good after the penalty. And so the Browns, with a field goal in the first quarter and one in the second, now trail 14-6. Back at Cleveland Stadium, the Browns team orthopedist, Dr. John Bergfeld, looking at x-rays of the right hand of Don Strock, who went out earlier in the game on a fumbled snap. An injury to his right hand. Bernie Kosar not in uniform again this week because of a knee injury suffered against the Dolphins, and here's how that occurred. On a Monday night, John Offerdahl came up the middle and got Kosar. He worked this week, was able to throw well, but he had problems pivoting on the bad knee, and so they held him out. The kickoff now, a spinner downfield, goes to Lorenzo White. He can bust it, and Lorenzo White takes it across the 30-yard line. The Oilers will start with good field position on this drive. A 20-yard return, and here comes Warren Moon. Brian Washington made the kickoff tackle for the Cleveland Browns.
Game of long drives so far. Houston had it for 9 minutes and 50 seconds and got 7 points, and then 15 seconds later got another 7 points. Herman Fontenot shaken up on that play. And then Cleveland just had a long drive for 3 points.
One major development for the Oilers. Rozier has not carried from scrimmage, but Alan Pinkett has, and he scored 2 touchdowns so far. That time the Browns key on Pinkett. Golick shifted over, number 79, and made the stop. 3 times a Pro Bowl nose tackle. Hairston was also on the play, as was number 92, Michael Dean Perry, a rookie and the younger brother of William the Refrigerator Perry.
Alan Pinkett has averaged 4.3 yards per carry in '88. The Oilers have pretty much gone with a one-back offense, giving it to Rozier, but with Highsmith, Pinkett, and Lorenzo White, 3 quality backup running backs.
Lorenzo White is the lone setback now. 2nd down and 8 for the Oilers, who lead the game 14-6. White. It wasn't a long run, but it was a great effort by the former All-American from Michigan State. A 5-yard gain with tacklers hitting him every step of the way.
On the Houston offensive line doing a good job here of keeping their feet. And then it's up to Lorenzo White to cut back somewhere, find a spot. You see Munchak, 63, getting a block on Mike Junkin. And Lorenzo White just kind of searching around back there, and we've got Big Daddy Hairston down on the ground. They're dropping like flies.
Hairston, a 13-year veteran at defensive end, a longtime Philadelphia Eagle, who came here for a relatively low draft choice. He's been a standout player at right end and one of the team leaders. Strock, the starting quarterback on this injury-riddled team, has gone out earlier today, and now Big Daddy Hairston is looked at. Let's stop the clock with 7:24 left to play in the first half.
And you would certainly think that the Houston Oilers would not feel comfortable with a 14-6 lead, especially after last week.
NFL Live at halftime. Frank DeFord looks at Christmas sports toys. Bob Costas and Don Shula review the first half. Paul and Amato here in Cleveland. McGuire's still feeding that dog pound biscuits.
The report on Don Strock is that he has a swelling in his wrist. Not sure that he'll come back. Of course, the bad thing, too, is he may be able to throw, but he also has to take the snap up against that hand. And generally, the snap is very, very hard and can jar that wrist. Keith Bostic on the phone, talking to the defensive coordinator of Houston.
Only one wild card team has gone the distance and won the Super Bowl. That was the Oakland Raiders back in 1981, and one of their big wins was here in Cleveland in a divisional playoff game when the chill factors were in the -20s. Mike Davis intercepted Brian Sipe in the end zone. Raiders went on to beat the Eagles in Super Bowl 15. Moon stands in on 3rd down, and he's swept under. First sack of the game. Mike Johnson, number 59, an inside backer coming on the blitz. So the Brown defense makes a big hit, and the Oilers have to punt from deep in their own end.
Don, this looked like a delayed blitz. Johnson sitting right there. He's looking. He waits till 32 Highsmith looks outside. Then comes free. Last week it was Grayson. Only Grayson hits Warren Moon right in the chest. Very timely blitz called by Dave Adolph for the Cleveland Browns, their coordinator. And Johnson trying to get everybody fired up on the sidelines.
Greg Montgomery, the rookie punter from Michigan State. The man who who will boot it, and the smallest player on the field on either team, 145-pound Gerald McNeil.
Too much time.
Yep, took too much time to get the snap away. So instead of 4th and 11 from the 32, it'll be 4th down and 16.
There's Mike Johnson and Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator he was just talking to.
Both teams knew this was going to be bare knuckles football coming in. Last man standing is going to win it. Here comes Don Strock now coming out after the x-rays of his throwing hand.
Delay of game. Offense still 4th down.
He's not in the hospital.
We'll see if he has a cast on his hand. One of those pressure casts or anything like that.
Montgomery will punt the ball from about his 16-yard line. Another marker's down as Montgomery, a rookie from Michigan State, booms a good one. Here comes McNeil. He's a dancer, and Gerald McNeil at 145 pounds. He survives because you rarely get a clean shot at him. Takes the ball back to the Cleveland 49-yard line.
There's his wrist. Looks like it's taped.
On of 36 yards and a 14-yard return by McNeil. Grimsley was on the tackle.
We've got another flag, illegal procedure against Houston.
Penalty decline. 1st down.
Marty Schottenheimer listening to what Don Strock has to say. If he's not even grabbing a football to see if he can throw it, it does not look good for Don Strock.
Rock around the Strock, a big hit record here in Cleveland. But they can't rally around him right now on the sideline with a bad hand.
By the way, if Pagel gets hurt, you know who the next quarterback for Cleveland is? Brian Brennan.
And he's a wide receiver. Nothing there, so the Brown runner just protects the ball and holds on. Ray Childress comes up to make the tackle right at midfield on a 1st down carry. Ernest Biner saw nothing open up. They talk Trump about the great runners. Not only do they have to hit the hole quickly, but they have to find the hole. That's not always where you think it's going to be.
Mack has great instinct finding that hole. Biner, I think, is a better receiver out of the backfield than he is a runner, even though 2 years ago he gained 1,000 yards. Mack is coming out. We got Fontenot in there along with Ernest Biner. This is the pass set.
2nd down and 10. Mike Pagel and the Cleveland Browns trailing 14-6. Pass near side to Biner, and a big play by Eugene Seal, number 53.
And another fight breaks out.
There's a warrior. Eugene Seal was part of the replacement team. He had a construction job in Texas. He's been a standout ever since. The Oilers' best special teams player, and he plays a lot in passing downs as the lone backer. Foul signaled against the Oilers.
Glanville told us last night after he had dinner, said unless we get 10 penalties a game, I don't think we play very well.
Foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 23 defense. 1st down.
Richard Johnson. This is the most penalized team in the NFL. At one time averaging 100 yards in penalties per game.
Yeah, but Glanville, Trump was saying to us yesterday, when we have 4 or 5 penalties, we never seem to win. When we have 10 or more, we seem to.
Absolutely.
He doesn't know why. Maybe it's they're playing with more emotion, but at any rate, that's a penalty he didn't like to see as the ball is advanced now down to the 36-yard line of Houston. 1st down and 10, Cleveland.
That's offsides Houston. Free play.
Glenn Young. And a wide receiver around, takes it inside the 35-yard line, down close to the 32.
That looked like Johnny Meads was offside, coming on the blitz. Offsides Houston is the call.
An excellent pass rusher. Johnny Meads blitzes more than any other Oiler and has 8 sacks this season, and he's forced 6 fumbles.
Offside. Number 91 defense. Still 1st down.
So they get Johnny Meads. Still first down, but a nice play call now for Pagel and the Browns. It's 1st and 5 at the 31-yard line of Houston.
Glanville calls all the defenses. He likes to show one and play another. Never give that quarterback a solid look at what he's about to face.
Oilers bring their linebackers up now. Browns want to run the ball wide if they can. Biner breaks it right. He's inside the 20, and Biner's not done till he's down to the 15-yard line. Jeff Donaldson finally ran him out with 4:44 to play in the first half.
That's what Cleveland has been lacking in their running game. 88, Langhorne comes back in motion. The man in coverage is Steve Brown, and Langhorne blocks his own man, Derek Tennell. Biner carrying that ball out there on the side. Nice pickup for Cleveland.
Each team has turned the ball over in this game. Oilers did on their opening drive. Felix Wright intercepted Warren Moon. Shortly thereafter, Matt Barr kicked a 33-yard field goal, and Cleveland led 3-0. Then the Oilers rallied with a 91-yard drive for a touchdown. Pinkett scoring, and then after the kickoff, a fumbled snap from center. Not only lost the ball for the Browns, but also their starting quarterback Don Strock went out on the play with an injured wrist. And right after that, Pinkett was in the end zone again. Now it's a 14-6 game, Oilers. Browns going right at Houston. Good trap blocking. Splits the defensive front of the Oilers. It's a 6-yard gain by Ernest Biner. Jeff Donaldson and Al Smith combined on the tackle.
I think one of the things that has helped Cleveland's running game is just the threat of Kevin Mack breaking outside. When he's in there and healthy at 235 pounds, has 4.5 or 4.55 speed in the 40, he can get to the corner. And he's also a good lead blocker for Ernest Biner.
Wind is gusting, but there's no rain right now, and the playing conditions remain relatively good. 2nd down. Oilers stack the run as the Browns try to go left. Meads and Donaldson come up on Kevin Mack. Tail of the tape up front with 3:40 to go in the second quarter. Houston with 2 quick touchdowns in the opening minute of the second quarter, both scored by Alan Pinkett. Took a 14-3 lead. Browns came back with a long drive but stalled and kicked another field goal. 14-6 Oilers.
I think they had the wrong personnel on the field.
That's been a Browns problem this year, Trump.
Cleveland takes a timeout. Marty Schottenheimer has been blamed for it, but the responsibility is the players. You got to tell the right people to be in the game. You practice it all week long. Get in a game situation, and someone's over there getting their legs warm. You know, I wonder if Marty Schottenheimer would be an obvious mistake. Go up to Mike Pagel and say, "Look, Don, this is what we want to do." He's seen so many quarterbacks there in his face this season talking about what they're going to do next. You don't know who is in the game and who is on the sideline.
Now, there have been continuing stories, at least in the media, of possible dissension on the Cleveland team, which nobody in the Browns organization seems to have found. Halftime coming up, NFL Live, as the road to Super Bowl 23 continues here on NBC Sports. Don Shula with Bob Costas at halftime will assess the first half's play. Coach Shula, with his Dan Marino firing all over the field, was able to beat the Browns that Monday night. That's what Houston did early last week. In the first 2.5 quarters, it was all Oilers and Warren Moon throwing.
This is an interesting situation here for Cleveland. At 3rd down and 5, I'm not so sure that Marty Schottenheimer doesn't want a touchdown here. And on 4th down, he might try it if they don't get it on this 3rd down.
This is 3rd and 5.
Blitz.
Blitz comes. Pagel throws into the end zone. He had a man running a post pattern in Webster Slaughter, and he threw the out ball.
Yeah, now they don't have any choice. They got to go for the field goal.
Well, you keep kicking them, you can win a game. If they make this one, and it's not a long one, it'll be a 14-9 game. They were going at Patrick Allen again.
Houston's done a good job. This time you see Robert Lyles sneaking up to the line of scrimmage. He gets by Rakosi rather easily. And he's there in his face, and Pagel has to throw it away, so Matt Barr will try either a 27 or 28-yard field goal.
Johnny Meads, 93, at some game last Sunday against the Browns. He had 15 tackles in that game. Robert Lyles, the other side, having a great game also last Sunday. And now the field goal is boomed up and through. So Matt Barr has tried 3 and hit them all. That from 28 yards, and Cleveland inches its way back into this game after trailing 14-3. The Browns are now down by 5 with 3:19 to play in the first half. Oilers, to get to the Super Bowl, had to go through a Russian winter. Cleveland, then Buffalo, then Cincinnati or Seattle.
Don, the Houston defense has done a good job here. Cleveland's driven the ball down the field twice, and they've kept them out of the end zone. Cleveland's had to settle for 2 field goals. Cleveland has not scored did not score a great many points in this 1988 football season, and had their problems inside the 20 scoring touchdowns. So if there's any saving grace for the Houston defense, is that it's field goals and not touchdowns that the Browns have scored on the last 2 drives.
And you can't underestimate the Browns' ability to come from behind, just as they did in very bad weather here last week when they were down 23-7, rallied to win 28-23. They've won 3 of their last 4, all coming from behind at halftime.
By the way, that field goal by Matt Barr ties a Brown record for field goals in a playoff game. He's 3 for 3 today.
Barr hits a high spinning kickoff, and here is Lorenzo White. White takes it out to the 23-yard line with 3:08 to play in the first half. 14-yard return. That's how the Oilers started out, very poorly, as Felix White intercepted Warren Moon in that first drive. Browns turned it into a field goal. And he got hot. Took him 91 yards in 17 plays. Pinkett on the payoff end. 7-3 Oilers. They got the ball back quickly on a Cleveland fumble. Pinkett again into the end zone. 14-3. But since then, the Browns have come back to kick 2 field goals, and they've cut the lead to 14-9. From the shotgun on 1st and 10. Moon lets her go deep. Haywood Jeffries comes down with the ball at the 41-yard line of Cleveland. Jeffries, a #1 draft choice 2 years ago out of North Carolina State, had a touchdown catch last week against the Browns.
This is a very well run pattern. Hanford Dixon just coming back from a thigh pull, not able to stay with Haywood Jeffries. Moon puts it up there. Jeffries realizes he's got to go up and get it. Dixon there just a little too late. Big reception for Houston.
Good for a 35-yard hit for the Oilers. Hanford Dixon came off. He took the full brunt of Haywood Jeffries, who fell on him. Now they're throwing a catch. Same man, Haywood Jeffries, inside the 30. He's got a first down on the run with the ball. He's ahead for a gain of 13 yards. Catch good for 8, the run good for 5, and the Oilers drive on quickly as we're coming down to the 2-minute warning. Two minutes to play in the first half.
That is a 2-minute warning.
Browns coming back, and now the Houston Oilers driving. Christmas Eve on the lake in Cleveland, Ohio. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, where the Browns have rallied back. But it is interesting, Trump, that Oiler defense, when the Browns looked like they were going to go in, held them to field goals.
Yeah, that is the big plus for the Houston Oilers. Cleveland's been down there, and they had a chance to score touchdowns, but Houston's given them nothing but field goals. I think the big question is, how much can Pagel do for this football team now? Was struck out and injured with a bad wrist.
Warren Moon triggers a long ball. Jeffries again, and somehow does Jeffries have it? He caught the ball, but he came down inbounds. They're ruling no. He's saying the defender pushed him out of bounds. This guy can play football, though. We haven't heard much about him.
Felix Wright is the man in coverage. They both go up for it. The initial part of the coverage is Will Hill. It is Will Hill that is right there with him. Jeffries goes over him to make the catch. And we're looking for both feet down in bounds. Hard to tell from this angle, but it does not appear that his foot does come down in bounds. Again, another look. Maybe this will give us a better angle. There's one. This is a tough call. I think they're going to review this.
A terrific second and third look brought about the review. Our producer today for NBC Sports is George Finkel. Our director, John Gonzalez. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman.
Now, this one is very hard to tell. The rule is you got to have both feet down in bounds. And what the official upstairs looking at it must determine is if Will Hill 35 is not there, can Jeffries come down with both feet in bounds? That's a tough call. The umpire in communication upstairs with the replay guy.
I hope they can make it. I couldn't.
Yeah, that is a very difficult call to make. He must determine if this is the reverse angle. Did Will Hill force him out of bounds? He gets 1 foot down. That left foot is in bounds. The right foot, I don't believe his right foot is in bounds, but did Hill push him out?
But Hill was making a play for the ball also. He's well within his rights.
But still, you're right. So there's no interference. But when it comes to would he have come down in bounds, that's what has to be determined.
So it goes as an incomplete pass, and it brings up second down and 10 for the Oilers, who lead the game 14-9 with 1:53 to play in the first half. We'll be going to NFL Live at halftime, where Bob Costas and Don Shula, among others, will take a look at the big plays of this first half, and there have been many. The Browns and probably having to mount another come-from-behind victory if they're to get one over an Oiler team that hasn't won here since '81, and Pinkett's been a big reason they're ahead today. With their 2 touchdowns, Alan Pinkett breaks it up the middle down to the 20-yard line. Gain of 9 yards on the play.
On that time, Houston spread the defense of the Cleveland Browns. Then they run the trap right up the middle with Alan Pinkett, and it does a great job. They're trying to move that defense around as best they possibly can, and from behind the defense, you see a good job by Matthews, 74 on Hairston. Pinkett jumps up through there. Brian Washington on the tackle.
Pinkett Trump has now run the ball 6 times for 38 yards and a touchdown. He also caught a swing pass for a 20-yard touchdown. 3rd and short. 3rd and 2. Throw and a catch. Nicely done by Givens, who takes the ball on the flank and turns upfield, going out of bounds at the Cleveland 12-yard line. A gain of 8 yards on the play.
Cleveland is trying to blitz Houston. It means man coverage all over the place. That time Mark Harper was out there with Ernest Givens, but couldn't really match up foot speed with him. Cleveland is trying to put as much pressure on Warren Moon as they can. The Houston offensive line doing a good job of keeping that blitz out.
Yes, they are. Rozier, although he was listed as a starter, has not run 1 time from scrimmage today. He was in for just 1 play that I can recall, Trump, and they had him flanked as a wide receiver.
Bad ribs.
But Alan Pinkett has carried the running load and very well as Moon from the shotgun throws a timing ball into the end zone, and it's not too long for Duncan. Curtis Duncan says he was pushed.
Frank Minifield, 31, the Pro Bowl cornerback, the man in coverage. On the line of scrimmage, you see the bump and run, and Duncan does a good job to get by Minifield. Can't really see much contact there, but receivers always lobby for contact.
Well, once again, it didn't work. Minifield will be going to the Pro Bowl again this year, as will the cornerback on the other side, Hanford Dixon of the Browns. 2nd down and 10, Oilers. They lead it 14-9 with under a minute to play in the first half. Moon, swing pass. Ball is caught by Pinkett. He lost it. Now they're ruling it incomplete. Fisher right there ruling he was bobbling the ball, did not have possession.
Don, they were trying another screen.
Juggling the ball, incomplete.
Larry Seaman says ball incomplete. They were trying another screen to try to avoid the pass rush. Now you'll watch the offensive lineman drift out. And then this ball should be caught. It looks like if Pinkett catches it cleanly, he can break to the outside all the way to the goal line. And he never gets control of the ball. This should be coming right at you. Pinkett should make this catch. That's right there. Never has control of it.
Big down here.
3rd and 10.
On the 18, Moon takes a look. That's strong on right into the arms of Felix Wright. So Wright again saves the day for the Cleveland Browns, this time in the end zone. Last week, Domingo Bryant intercepted Strock twice in the first half, and today they've turned the tide with Felix Wright, the standout safety for the Browns, picking off Warren Moon twice. So the Houston drive is stopped.
Moon should not have thrown this ball. It looks like he's going to Givens, 81, and Givens stops the pattern.
I could have caught that one. Felix Wright, a longtime nemesis, as you pointed out, Trump, of Warren Moon, dating back to when they were both in the Canadian Football League.
When Moon throws this, he knows, oh no, Givens, don't stop your pattern. Bring it back, please. Put a string on it. Make it a yo-yo. I didn't mean that one.
7th interception of the year for Felix Wright. 43 seconds to go now in the first half. And the Browns are going to collect themselves. To the dismay of their fans, they're not going to try to throw the ball downfield. Cagle has been instructed to run out the clock. Then we'll be going to NFL Live. As Warren Moon, obviously unhappy, he's got a tremendous touchdown to interception ratio. He has thrown this season, Warren Moon, 18 touchdown passes. That was his 9th interception. He's the only quarterback in the NFL with a 2-to-1 ratio in his favor. TDs to interceptions, but that one hurt. Not the Browns, though. It stopped the drive, and so we'll go to halftime with Houston, after trailing 3-0, now leading 14-9. And the Browns, as they head to a week ago, forced to play from behind in the second half. NFL Live halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Trumpy back at Cleveland Stadium. Mike Pagel has been called on today to quarterback the Cleveland Browns. Trump, as we mentioned, was running scout team all week. He was playing Warren Moon, but he's thrown very well. Hit 6 of 8 for 59 yards, and he'll start out in the 3rd quarter. Cleveland gets the ball. Big drive.
Yeah, last week, of course, it was Don Strock and that miraculous come from behind victory, 16-7. They trailed at halftime, and Don Strock really got things done. But it does look like it's going to be in Mike Pagel's hands. And if Mike Pagel goes down, Brian Brennan is the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. So they're going to try to keep Mike Pagel as healthy as possible in this second half.
And as duly noted, Brian Brennan is a wide receiver. Zendejas, one of the famed kicking Zendejas brothers, ready to boom it off for the Houston Oilers. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. McNeil and Young are back deep for the Cleveland Browns. The Browns forced to come from behind again this week on their home field if they can do it. (14-9) Oilers as we go to the 3rd quarter kickoff. On the second hop, super fast Glenn Young turns the corner. And Young breaks it into open field and gets all the way out to the 40-yard line.
Oh, that's a big help, Don.
33-yard run back by Glenn Young.
That is a big help for this Cleveland offense. There's Mike Pagel's numbers in the first half. Came in cold. Time of possession pretty even. Turnovers last week at this time, Cleveland had 4, Houston had none. The rushing yards, not what they wanted. Both teams not really getting the ball or control of the line of scrimmage. So Cleveland's got to make good on its opportunities if they got a chance in the second half.
Browns have come from behind at halftime 3 of their last 4 games to win. Oilers haven't lost 2 games in a row in a season and a half. Kevin Mack on first down right at the Oiler defense, and he's across the 45-yard line. Inside backer Al Smith knocked him down.
Al Smith, considered one of the best linebackers this team has. He misreads. He goes to Biner, and Mack gets the football. And it looks like Al Smith is still on the ground. He is.
So while yet another injured player is attended to, there's this break. Well, so far it isn't a white Christmas in Cleveland, and the forecast was for a rainy one. The rains have fallen a bit, but they've held off. Playing conditions right now about as good as they've been. No precipitation at all. Temperature in the 30s. Tracker stayed fairly fast. Mack, who is so quick, even with both arms on the ball. He was a standout in the U.S. Football League. Kevin Mack was picked by the Cleveland Browns in the first round of the supplemental draft and has subsequently become a Pro Bowl player 2 of his previous 3 seasons.
You see those possessions, the 3 field goals, all 3 times they got down inside the 25. Come away with 9 points. Certainly want to correct that. That bar, those 3 kicks, ties the Cleveland Browns record in playoff game.
Mike Pagel behind his center, Greg Riccozzi. And second back, Biner. He finds a way. Ernest Biner, who's certainly an overachiever. He was a 12th round draft choice out of East Carolina. Led the Browns in receiving this season with 59 catches. And also rushed for almost 600 yards. A 7-yard gain there.
Now you notice that the running game of the Browns is a lot better when both Mack and Biner are there. Mack, an excellent lead blocker. Biner, a very, very tricky little running back. And when you see him put both hands on that football, he's made some horrendous fumbles for this franchise. But now Mack is out. Fontenot is in.
Second down and 3 arises for the Cleveland Browns. They play fake to Fontenot. Hagel fortunately gets it out of bounds for Cleveland and throws it to a sideline man as nobody was open. He wanted to go somewhere else, but it wasn't there, so he just threw it away.
Again, good pressure by Houston on Mike Pagel. They're trying to make sure that he doesn't have time to read. Robert Lyles, 93. You see Fontenot tries to pick him up a little bit there. That looked like it was set up to be a screen, and then he just threw the ball out. That's why Biner passed up Robert Lyles.
Mike Pagel, the quarterback, 6'2", 220, is in his 7th year out of Arizona State. He was a 4th round draft choice of the then Baltimore Colts in 1982. Acquired by the Browns in 86 in a trade with Indianapolis. As markers go down before the snap of the ball on 3rd down and 3. Pagel is also, or was, a tremendous baseball player. He was an outfielder on a Sun Devil team at Arizona State that won the College World Series.
This is going to be against the offense.
Prior to the snap, number 74 offense, still 3rd down.
Paul Perrin. When you function from the shotgun, Don, a lot of times there is no snap count. It's a silent snap count. You see Mike Pagel lift his foot. That tells the center, I'll snap it when I'm ready. And Pagel looking at his list of plays there, just like Don Strock. Anyway, the offensive linemen are basically looking at the defensive linemen they're facing, and that's why you have a lot of illegal procedures.
Barron and Risen are the tackles. Bolden in for injured Larry Williams, and Dan Pike are the guards. Riccozzi the center. From the shotgun on 3rd down and 8. Here's a hard throw and a catch for a first down to the 30-yard line. Langhorn makes the play on an in pattern, and Mike Pagel with a lot of pop on that throw delivers that tight spiral low, and it couldn't intercept, and right into the hands of Reggie Langhorn.
17-yard play. Once again, Steve Brown in coverage. This is zone. He follows him inside. There's no help on the inside. Pagel's got enough time to throw it. Langhorn made some huge catches last week for Cleveland. Here, another one to continue the drive.
That was Pagel's best throw of this game, and he's made good ones. Now he goes to Fontenot, and Fontenot, struck hard by Donaldson, is inside the 25-yard line. The free safety, 31, Donaldson, a very hard tackler, a punishing tackler. Our NBC's chief statistician, Joe Costanza, totaling the numbers here. Pagel has now thrown the ball Trump 10 times with some very impressive results.
Completed 7 for 76 yards. When they can use that running game, here's Webster Slaughter. He's on Patrick Allen. Ricky Bolden, 77, does a good job on Al Smith, and Fontenot gets by there. Donaldson makes the tackle, brings up 2nd and 5.
11:25 to play, 3rd quarter. Browns down by 5, but driving. They go to the run, and the Oilers shut it down with a defensive front. Big Ray Childress, number 79. Sean Jones, who was shaken up earlier, is back in. And a marker's down front at the 23-yard line.
Once again, they're going to get the retaliator, and I believe it's going to be Ernest Biner. They always get the second guy, and I think they got Ernest Biner. It's against Cleveland.
Personal foul.
Somebody pushed Ernest Biner, and Biner turned around and just punched him. In games like this, you got to keep your poise. We'll watch on the right of the screen. Al Smith and Donaldson push Biner around.
Number 44
Biner turned
offense.
around.
15-yard penalty. The down was completely over, so it will be third down.
It is interesting. The Oilers are 6-1 in games where they've led at the half, as they did today. The only loss came last week when they were up 16-7 at halftime. Built at the 23-7 early in the third quarter, only to lose here at Cleveland 28-23 last Sunday. But Coach Glanville's hoping to avoid that. Right now, a long yardage down, 3rd and 19 for Pagel and the Cleveland Browns. Flat pass, Langhorne. Tacklers close in, and Langhorne, who tends to cut back and lose some yardage, did there. Gain of only 4 after he had to pick up about 8. William Fuller, a big defensive end, knocked him down, number 95.
Boy, was that a big penalty. That was a huge penalty.
Biner's going to get himself thrown out. He's got a friend in Sean Jones.
There's another flag.
Sean Jones might have saved him getting thrown out.
This is called losing your cool.
The Oilers are saying, don't help him, to Sean.
Going to be unsportsmanlike conduct. 2 big penalties in this drive, and unfortunately both on the same guy who had a fumble last year.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 44 offense. The down was over. Again, it will be fourth down. Fourth down.
Biner had a fumble last year in the AFC Conference Championship game in Denver. And here he just loses his cool.
That's called getting in your face.
But that doesn't accomplish anything.
It sure didn't there.
He cost him 30 yards on maybe the most important drive of the season, and certainly in this game.
So now the Browns have to punt. Roniger hits a good one downfield. It forces a fair catch. Duncan, fair catches for the Oilers. They will start at their 10-yard line. 40-yard punt, no return, as Coach Schottenheimer trying to calm down Biner. Mike Pagel has just gone over to Ernest Biner to try to settle him down. With consecutive penalties called against Biner, the Browns were taken out of a drive, had a punt, and now the Oilers, who lead 14-9, have their first possession of the second half. And the run they go, and that's Alan Pinkett, who scored their 2 first-half touchdowns. He's not done as he weaves his way, bouncing outside and gets to the 17. Here's another marker. Now, these coaches wanted a motion. I think they have more than they wanted.
Well, the officiating crew doing a great job of trying to keep control of this game. Trying to make sure that it does not totally get out of control late. Personal foul. Houston, half the distance to the goal. That's Ernest Biner. That's when they called one on them. But Cleveland can't play this game.
Roughness, number 32 offense. Again,
Alonzo Highsmith is called for unnecessary roughness. He can get rough, believe me. 240.
Houston plays this game of pushing and shoving after the downs. Cleveland does not. Cleveland can't play this game with Houston in the second half.
So now, Moon and the Oiler offense up against it again as the Brown fans come on strong. And here's Moon from his 2-yard line. Long ball. Man is out there, and the ball is caught and then lost at the 47-yard line. Drew Hill with a step on the defender, and a 60-yard throw by Warren Moon was perfect. Hanford Dixon might have stripped it at the last minute, but the ball was exactly where it had to be. A laser-sharp throw by Moon.
Hill gets inside of Dixon. You see Bob Golick, 79, dropping back in coverage, but when Hill gets inside Dixon, that makes him a receiver. Hanford Dixon running stride for stride, never really had a hold of it.
They'll go back to that because Hill won't drop it the second time.
Well, that's a beautiful throw.
As good as they get. Now, third down arises. Third and over 11. Moon gets time. Then he runs out of it. He's hit hard at the goal line. William Dean Perry came through. The number 2 draft choice, or Michael Dean Perry, brother of William.
This is a straight 4-man rush. They got Clay Matthews on the outside, but he's the 4th rusher. Michael Dean Perry, 92, beats Mike Munchak to get there to Warren Moon.
A rookie, Greg Montgomery, under great pressure now. Barking at him from behind in the pound. Here's a great hit downfield. Knuckleball punt, tough to field. It's picked up by McNeil, and he quickly dances out of bounds. But the Browns get the ball to start this drive on the Houston side of the 50. A 42-yard punt, a 5-yard return. And for Dixon, an all-pro cornerback, attended to miss last week's game with a quadricep injury. As the Browns and the Oilers try to get to Super Bowl 23, the Super Bowl tournament beginning today. First down and 10. Cleveland with the ball to the 47-yard line of the Oilers. Browns without a touchdown yet, trailing 14-9. Swing to Biner. Big-time hit put on him by cornerback Steve Brown of the Oilers, number 24. Brown and Allen the corners, Bostic and Donaldson the safeties, an excellent Houston secondary.
Nice little roll here by Pagel. You see Biner, he bypasses all of the pass rushers. Pagel gets it to him. An excellent receiver out of the backfield. It doesn't pick up much, just 3 yards.
I got a feeling Trumpy's going to see a lot more of the ball.
You got Mack and Biner in there now together.
Ernest Biner. Now they have Mack as the up back. Kevin Mack, the lead back. Biner is the I back. Second down and 7. Pitch goes to Biner. Mack in front. Tremendous block put on. Paul Farron, the left tackle, moving out in front, cut down a linebacker, and it's an 8-yard gain for the Cleveland Browns. And very close to a first down.
Once again, they got the Houston Oilers caught in blitz. Watch the top of the screen. Good job by Langhorne. He gets a good hit on Johnny Means, and that gets him the corner. Paul Farron with a nice block on Eugene Seal. And then Patrick Allen out there to make the tackle. Close enough to measure for the first down.
Coming up at Super Bowl 23 on NBC Sports, the NFL Talent Challenge. Among the contenders, Webster Slaughter and Clarence Weathers, performers for the Cleveland Browns. A blue chip panel of celebrities will decide which of the 28 athletes, one representing each team, is good enough to perform on the NBC Sports Super Bowl pregame show. Houston's contenders are Patrick Allen and Spencer Tillman. And the best 6 or 7 will make it down to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami on Super Sunday here on NBC Sports, January 22nd.
Biner's got a lot to make up for in this drive, Don.
Hagel with a good play fake, freezes the back, throws to an open man. Webster Slaughter at the 11-yard line. Now do they rule he's out of bounds? Apparently they do.
I think he caught that clearly out of bounds.
Something less than a definitive signal, but it is ruled incomplete.
Slaughter runs by the defensive back, and then the free safety takes over Jeff Donaldson. Watch again. 1. Whoa, wait a minute. Very close. Let's see again. Watch the left foot. That's a catch. They're going to review that one. They're going to review that one. Watch his second foot. First one clearly in. Oh, that's a catch. That's a catch. That's a catch.
That's the best one there.
They're going to give it to him. That right foot, you can't tell from that angle if it's inside the line, but on the reverse angle, you can see that there's green between the toe of his shoe and the line.
Reverse tells the story.
Left foot is down, clearly in bounds. Right foot.
He drags the left again, so it's in twice.
Yeah, you can see the right foot. There's green between his toe and the line. I think that's enough to give him the catch. It should be enough to give him the catch.
Game of inches. If it's ruled that Slaughter did indeed get his foot down an inch inside the white line, it'll be good for a 25-yard Cleveland game, and a game that they trail in with 8:11 to play in the third quarter. Oilers still leading 14-9 as it stood at the half. There couldn't be any more difference, Trump, between two stadiums than Cleveland Stadium and the Astrodome. One small and indoors, perfect playing conditions. One is cavernous and outdoors right on the lake, although, as we said, the upset of the playoffs early on is the weather here.
Now, what we're looking at here is you can clearly see his left foot come down, and then you're looking for the right foot. Now, my opinion is when his foot comes down, it looks like there is grass or something dark between his foot and the line. You see the official standing right there. You can't blame the official for that. He's going to see if the ball is caught and also see if that second foot is in. The only doubt, I think, in the replay guy's mind is you need irrefutable evidence. And it's very tough because television cameras lose that extra dimension, that dimension of depth. But it does appear that his foot is in bounds there. Right foot. There's also a face mask on there, but the replay doesn't call penalties.
Replay, the play stands, incomplete pass.
That's going to be run 1,000 times here in Cleveland. I think that's a catch.
Well, George Slatke, whoever he is, will walk out of here with a big hat on and a fake mustache. But he did what he had to do, in his opinion, and he's the official replay man. There was not enough evidence to rule reception, and so it goes as a long out, an incomplete pass. And it's now 2nd down and 10. Protecting the ball with both arms, then using those shoulders to take on tacklers. Steve Brown finally cut him down. Game clock running, 7:55 to play third quarter as Warren Moon waits for his chance. He very nearly hit the big throw. Guy that just walked by him with the long hair just took his helmet off. Jamie Williams, the tight end. He hasn't caught a pass now in 9 games. I think they might go to him one of these days.
He's an offensive lineman. He wears a tight end number, but he's an offensive lineman.
3rd and 7 coming up for the Browns, who trail 14-9 in the third quarter. Climbing ball, Langhorne's out there, and he has it inside. No, he dropped the ball when he hit the turf. Incomplete. So close to 1st and goal at the 3. Nice throw by Pagel. He's made a number.
Steve Brown and Domingo Bryant were the men in coverage. That's Brown. Langhorne gets outside. The blitz was coming. This is man-to-man coverage. He stretches out for it, and he just can't control it. So the Browns, who got the ball to start the second half on their own 40, and then they get it on the Houston 46, have to settle for 2 punts instead of points.
Runiger, a big game punter. He's punted in Super Bowls for both the Eagles and the 49ers. Hits it downfield, and Duncan fair catches. Again, the Oilers get the ball, but they're forced to go the long field. They had a 191-yard drive in this game for a score. Now they'll start from their 10. They're getting meaner looking now. Mark Harper is in at corner. Hanford Dixon is out. Handoff. Alan Pinkett bangs at the left side of the Cleveland defense. Bob Golick, the nose tackle, making a lot of plays. Hairston back in after he was banged up at right end.
God, in this entire season now, it's come down to how well this defensive Cleveland has played. Without the offense, with the injuries to the quarterbacks and also to Kevin Mack. And again in this game, it's basically up to the defense to get Houston 3 downs and out here. They've got to give their offense as many opportunities as possible, even with the offensive problems.
You have to admire the way the Oilers have maintained their poise in this cauldron of sound whenever they had the ball, particularly at this end. 2nd down and 8. Swing pass, and it's slapped away. Almost a lateral. If it was a lateral, it's 6.
Matthews
he might be reviewing this. He tried to swing it out to Alan Pinkett, but if he threw it back, if it wasn't forward, it goes as a free ball, and Matthews has a live ball in his hands when he went in.
the determining factor is going to be, oh, wait a minute. This is going to be very, very interesting.
This gets Trumpy going here.
Oh, I like this. This is the reverse angle. Now watch where Warren Moon throws the ball from. 57, Clay Matthews is there on the blitz. He's thrown it from the 6. That's a lateral. That's a lateral. That's a lateral. He's behind the 5-yard line. Again. And Jerry Glanville is wondering what's going on. That play's not designed to throw that quickly as Jerry Seaman is coming to the sideline. Now once again, watch where Warren Moon, this is the reverse angle. It appears he goes back, and because of the blitz, he throws it from the 6. Alan Pinkett is inside the 5. There is no question that is a lateral. Clay Matthews picks it up, but watch Jerry Seaman. He motions no, no, no. You see right there in the corner? There's no way they can say the whistle blew. Not down on contact. That has got to be either Cleveland ball at the point where Clay Matthews picked it up or 6 points. This place is going to go crazy.
By the end of this day, George Slatsky could be the most famous or infamous person in Cleveland, Ohio. The replay man doing the best he can.
All right, let's try to
look at this now.
Let's try to look at this just as he's about to throw it. There's his foot right there. You can see the 5-yard line. And then when Alan Pinkett catches it, this is so clear. I don't even know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. There's the 5-yard line. There's no question in anybody's mind that that's a lateral. That ball's behind the 5-yard line.
Wait till you hear this. You're going to hear a motion erupt that you won't believe. Clay Matthews gets a delayed touchdown if the hands go up.
After further review of instant replay, it was determined that we had a backward pass and not a forward pass. The covering official hit the whistle when the ball was incomplete. Consequently, going backwards, it will be Houston's ball on the 5-yard line.
That cannot happen. No.
The whistle was blown.
On a backward pass, the ball is live. The whistle cannot blow. The ball is live on a backward pass. This cannot happen. There is no whistle blown.
Determined that it was a backward pass and not a forward pass. The covering official, signaling incomplete, ruled and blew the whistle when the ball's on the 5-yard line. It will be Houston's ball.
But the whistle cannot blow on a backward pass. The ball is live. They just got the shaft, I think, twice. How in the world can that call be made?
I don't know who's angrier, Trumpy or Art Modell, the Cleveland owner in the booth right next to him.
There's only one guy to make that whistle blow, and that is Jerry Seaman, the referee. That play cannot stand. There is no way in the world that the whistle can blow when the ball is a backward pass. The ball is live. The line judge, they say, blew the whistle. The line judge is 7 yards away. Unbelievable.
But the play call stands. It is Houston's ball. 3rd down and 15 as Moon drops into the end zone. Letting her rip deep. Drew Hill catches the ball for an Oiler first down out to the 27-yard line.
Look, you know what they just did? We're going to listen to the play full speed. Here's the ultimate irony. They gave Houston the ball at the spot where it was dropped by Alan Pinkett. They snapped that ball from the 5-yard line. So they're saying it's a lateral. Cleveland recovers it. Houston gets the ball. That's as bungled a call as I've seen.
And then after that throw from the end zone, the Oilers get a first down. Now Houston goes to the run on first down and 10 with 5 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the third quarter. Still a long way to go on this one for Coach Glanville and Coach Schottenheimer.
I hate to belabor this point, but one of the major complaints that coaches in the NFL have made about the officiating is it's not kept track with the play. And they're saying that the whistle blew when the ball was dropped by Alan Pinkett and before Clay Matthews picked it up. But on a lateral, that ball is live. It should be Cleveland's ball.
Second down and 7 now. Warren Moon and the Oilers. Penalty marker comes in. Time ran out. Delay a game. You get a crowd noise in Cleveland Stadium almost unlike any place else. It is a cavernous stadium, a huge, huge baseball stadium. And it's almost like a deep roar rather than the intense noise you get in the Astrodome or the Kingdome or one of the indoor stadiums. But it is deafening. It builds.
Don, I sure hope our postgame has the ability to get a hold of Art McNally for an explanation of this call. It's put a sour note on the entire football game.
Warren Moon from the shotgun on second and 12. Long ball, the coverage is good, and there's no play at the 45-yard line. Curtis Duncan was the intended receiver. Minifield 31 was running stride for stride with him. You know the Oilers aren't going to get a call here after what went against the Browns.
Yeah, the Oilers have gotten their share. Last week, the ball bounced in the second half for the Cleveland Browns. Off helmets and shoulder pads and into hands. And today, the calls have gone for the Houston Oilers. Minifield, step for step. He's with Duncan, and that's what Duncan is complaining about. He does not get the call.
Hanford Dixon is back in at the right corner now. When out, he's troubled by that leg muscle injury, a pulled quadricep. Minifield was covering on that play. Hanford Dixon's at the lower portion of your screen covering. Warren Moon, he can roll if he has to. He's intercepted by Cleveland. Mark Harper picks it off, and he's back inside the 25-yard line. A 15-yard return as the defensive backs were right where they had to be, waiting for the throw.
There's another flag at the end of the play. When Moon scrambles, he's in a certain amount of desperation here. Harper, who last week was victimized, bounces it around, catches it. There's also a flag. Don't know who it's on, but there's also a flag. That face mask may be on the guy who made the tackle. Yes, sir, that's what it's going to be. Face mask. 3 guys in coverage.
Well, they worked that tip drill, and there's the benefit of it.
Warren Moon, you mentioned earlier in the game, it's Alonzo Highsmith who makes the tackle with the face mask. You mentioned earlier about Warren.
Personal foul, 15-yard face mask, number 32 defense. First down.
You mentioned earlier about Warren Moon and his 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, but against Cleveland, he's now thrown 6 touchdowns and 18 interceptions against this team in his career against Cleveland.
As they pointed out at the outset of the day on NFL Live, Warren Moon has had a lot of success since coming to Houston, but not against the Browns. Now the Browns challenging again for what could be the go-ahead touchdown. They thought they had it on the defensive play by Matthews. Matt cut down. Big defensive hit by Johnny Meade, the right outside backer, who caught him shin high and knocked down 240-pound Kevin Mack, who, despite his size, Mack is one of the fastest players in the Browns team.
Now the Cleveland defense did its job. Got the ball back in the hands of the offense. The offense has been down here now 4 times. Come away with just 3 field goals.
The Cleveland Browns, who've rallied from behind at halftime in 3 of their last 4 games, trying to do it again today. They're down to a 1-game season now. Pitch back goes to Papineau, and there's a beautiful open field hit. Steve Brown made the first connection, number 24, and then he was finished off by the pursuing linebackers. So the Browns on 2nd and 11 lose yards. It's going to be 3rd down and 14.
Matt Barr warming up, but again in the red zone. The owner of the Cleveland Browns, Art Modell, not happy with the sweep. Ernest Biner now coming off the field.
Ernest wincing there. Oilers coming from the building they've named the House of Pain. They thought they were coming to the House of Rain today here at Cleveland Stadium. Forecasts as of yesterday for today's game were for football and a car wash. Heavy rain and gusts of wind up to 50 miles an hour. It was gusting up to 40 miles an hour yesterday. But the playing conditions for the most part have been excellent for Northern Ohio in late December.
Again, a huge down for Cleveland. They've dominated in the second half, but they have no points.
Score stands as it did at halftime. 14-9 Oilers.
Zone by Houston. Zone.
Hagel looks it over. Throws into the end zone. Wide open. Webster Slaughter. And the Browns take the lead. The same man who brought them back last week from behind. Webster Slaughter on the payoff end. This time it's Mike Hagel who delivers a 14-yard touchdown throw.
Houston goes to zone. Watch the cornerback drop off. Patrick Allen. Webster Slaughter realizes it. Jeff Donaldson bites on a good fake by Hagel. He looks out the flat. Webster Slaughter is wide open, and Ernest Biner celebrates big time.
2:36 to play, 3rd quarter, as Matt Barr drills the extra point up and good. And the Cleveland Browns have now rallied from behind. There's a penalty marker down. The extra point going to go against the Oilers.
Offside defense lined up in the neutral zone. The extra point is good. 5-yard penalty. 6-second kickoff.
This Hagel has done some job.
Hagel looks to the outside, and that's all it takes. Jeff Donaldson, 31, bites outside, and that dead spot in the zone is open for Slaughter, and a huge catch for the Cleveland Browns. Down here's the scoring play. Slaughter on the outside. You see Patrick Allen drop off, but now watch Jeff Donaldson comes. Stop right there. There's Jeff Donaldson. When Hagel looks outside, Donaldson thinks he's going outside, leaves the spot open, and then the defense for Webster Slaughter to make another huge catch for the Cleveland Browns, and they finally take the lead.
This Slaughter has really come back after an 8-week absence with a fractured arm. He played against Miami. Then in the most important game of the season, when the Browns had a win last Sunday, he caught 6 passes for 136 yards, including one for the winning touchdown. And now today, he brings the Browns from behind, this time off the throw by Mike Hagel. Lorenzo White. Back and ready to bring it back for the Oilers. Barr hits a high spinner. It'll carry short, and Lorenzo White takes off. Works his way out to about the 23-yard line, where Warren Moon and the Houston offense come back out. See what Warren Moon, not much happening for him. A terrific first half, accepting the 2 interceptions by Felix Wright. Mark Harper picked him off the last time he ran the Oiler offense, and that was turned into the touchdown on the throw to Webster Slaughter. 16-14 Cleveland with 2:26 to play, 3rd quarter. AFC wildcard game. Winner goes to Buffalo, losers out. First time in 9 games that the tight end Jamie Williams had a ball thrown to him. He doesn't get it often, but he appreciates it when he does, although he banged his elbow coming down.
Watch the offensive line in the trenches. There's a lot more holding allowed now than used to be allowed in the NFL. There's Munchak on Big Daddy Hairston. It happens any way you can get it done nowadays in the NFL. These guys are so big. Williams with his catch. Lands right on his shoulder.
First down and 10. Moon out pattern, nicely done to Drew Hill, who breaks it across midfield, and he's down inside the 45-yard line of the Browns. Felix Wright, who has 2 interceptions today, ran him out of bounds, but the gain is good for 18 as Warren Moon's right arm quickly gets the Oilers out of jail deep in their own end.
On both last week and this week, those crossing patterns by the Houston Oilers have functioned very well. Of course, with Hill and Gibbons, they're not afraid to go across the middle. Barry Glanville calls all those offensive plays with help from June Jones.
Glanville has that long rider coat on, something from the Old West. And it's a shoot 'em out here today at Cleveland Stadium. Pinkett, a dancer, backs in and out and cuts back and did well to get just 2 yards down to the 41-yard line. A very important consideration here, Trump. Career Zendejas, the Oiler field goal kicker, has hit 7 of 11 over 50 yards. So if it comes down to a long boot, he can deliver it.
There he is on the sideline, keeping his leg warm. That heater looks like the tail end of a 727. That red hot metal in there.
Second down and a long 7. Almost 8. Pinkett busts it open on a draw play, and Alan Pinkett takes it inside the 20 and all the way down to the 14-yard line. 27-yard gain by Alan Pinkett, who's been called on today to spell injured Mike Rozier. Rozier was listed to start. Nobody talked about the seriousness of his rib injury. He hasn't carried it one time. Pinkett's been as good or better today.
Don, this is the sprint draw. Great job up front. And it looks like they have man coverage because some of these guys from the Cleveland Browns don't even realize that Alan Pinkett is down there running. Felix Wright helps, and then Harper finally makes...
With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at Cleveland Stadium in this AFC wild card game that has been back and forth. Browns open the scoring after an interception early of Warren Moon in the first quarter when Barr hit a field goal. Then 2 quick touchdowns early in the second quarter by Alan Pinkett. And Houston had a 14-3 lead. Then the Browns came back. It was 14-9 at halftime. And now Cleveland has taken the lead 16-14 as we start the fourth quarter. Lorenzo White looking for room to run. At 210 pounds, he has extraordinary quickness. Glanville thinks he's going to be his franchise runner in due time. Rozier is right now, though Rozier's out today with rib injuries. He did play just 1 play as a wide receiver.
Houston Oilers have several franchise running backs. Highsmith, Rozier, Pinkett, who's had a big day today, and Lorenzo White.
Duncan goes wide left. Double tight end set on second down and 6 for the Oilers. 2 points behind. Lorenzo White cuts back, and White takes it down close to the 5-yard line. Gain of about 5 on the play. Sam Clancy at left end, number 91, made the stop for the Browns.
Now, one of the things that both teams have done very well is cut back. You watch the offensive line. There's a pull by Matthews, and Lorenzo White, you can see him pushing and shoving up there. Lorenzo White goes behind all of that blocking for a nice 5-yard pickup.
10 of Cleveland's 16 points came right after turnovers. Now Warren Moon moving the Oilers to a tough place to play football if you're the visiting team, the open end of Cleveland Stadium. With the super rambunctious dog pound right behind him, and that might have thrown their execution off. A marker's down.
That's against Houston. Running back jumped out of his stance. Looked like Alonzo Highsmith broke out of his stance, and you're right, Don. It's very difficult to hear down there. Now watch Highsmith. He moves. That prompts the defense to move.
So instead of 3rd and 1, it'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Oilers. It'll move the ball
defense, illegal motion, 32 offense, offsetting penalties, repeat third down.
Players on both sides left before the snap. So a power down comes up for the Houston Oilers. 3rd down and 1.
Well, this game will age you. And playing in this stadium as a visiting coach will add about 20 years to your life. Cleveland Browns have lost their starting quarterback. Mike Pagel, who has not played in 10 weeks, is in, and Cleveland leads.
Lorenzo White is the D-back, and he gets the pitch behind Highsmith. Lorenzo White is down to the 2-yard line. He has a first down for the Oilers, as Highsmith, at 240 pounds, kicked out and just blew away a defender coming in with an angle on the ball carrier. Lorenzo White gets the first down, and so now the Oilers will go point-blank range at the 2.
Great athletic ability by Lorenzo White. Cleveland had defenders right in front of him. He jumps over them for the first down.
The swing in motion here is remarkable. From absolutely a deafening roar, Cleveland Stadium went soundless. Now the noise picks up again as the Oilers looking to go ahead. Have it first and goal. Lorenzo White, he's in. Touchdown Houston, and the Houston Oilers go in front 20-16.
Unbelievable. These two teams have played two of the best football games in back-to-back weekends that, Don, I think you and I have ever seen. A range of emotion, highs to lows, comebacks. Watch the block here by Alonzo Highsmith. An excellent block. He puts Junkin right on the ground. Eddie Johnson, 51, tries to make the tackle. Lorenzo White in the end zone.
4-point advantage for Houston, looking to extend it to 5 now as Zendejas will try the point after. Brent Peace, first-year player, coming up the strike team. It's the holder. And the extra point is good with 12:25 to play in the 4th quarter. The Oilers have rallied again, and now they lead the game 21-16. And Houston will kick off to the Cleveland Browns when we come back. The rain holds off. Playing conditions remain good. And again, the Oilers rally and take the lead on a 76-yard drive engineered on some brilliant play by Warren Moon. Some very big throws, and finally from in close, Lorenzo White takes it in behind a blast block from Alonzo Highsmith. 21-16 Oilers, and here come the Browns on the return. Out to the 24-yard line is where the ball is moved, and it'll be 1st and 10 there for the Cleveland Browns. Gerald McNeil slow getting up after the return.
Just leave it out for a second.
Wondrous thing he gets up at all at 145 pounds.
We got to inventory who, in fact, can play here now for Cleveland. Mack is back in the ball game. So is Ernest Biner. Not a lot of yards, but for a game with this few yards, has it been exciting?
Tremendous. I know one thing. My car isn't worth as much as the gold Lorenzo White has around his neck off the field. This man has some serious gold. Here is Hagel looking out. Slaughter with a thing of beauty. A down and out and a low, perfectly thrown ball by Hagel that eludes the defender. It's a 19-yard gain.
This ball is perfectly timed by Pagel, which is remarkable since he has not worked out with the first unit. He looks back inside. He knows the ball is thrown. You can't defense that. That is absolutely beautifully done by Pagel and by Webster Slaughter, who continues to make huge catches. Just 3 catches, but man, have they been monsters today.
Kevin Mack, he is slowed, and then he gets a second acceleration, moving straight ahead for a gain of about 2 yards on a first down carry. Big Sean Jones knocked him down, number 96. Doug Smith in at nose tackle. He's 300 pounds.
Not many yards by Kevin Mack, but he's a threat. And I think that's one thing that helps the Cleveland Browns offense a great deal. A lot of situation substitution. Now Biner and Fontenot are the backs.
Fontenot, the I back. sweeps in to knock down Fontenot for a loss on the play. It'll bring the ball back to the 38-yard line, where it'll be third down at about 14.
That was a huge play by Robert Lyles. The sweep comes his way. And you can see Lyles, he gets across the line of scrimmage. There's 93. He's out there on Cody Rising. Eugene Seal eventually assists on the tackle for a loss of 7 yards.
Lyles in his 4th year from TCU. The emotional leader of the Oiler defense. Nagel stands in. They get him just as he releases, and he couldn't get any pop on the ball. Johnny Meads, a non-stop blitzer from the right outside backer position, got a shot at Mike Pagel. Look at those numbers for Mike Pagel, who, as we pointed out earlier, spent the entire week as the scout team quarterback. He played Warren Moon all week in the Brown practices. Runiger ready to punt now. Browns have to give it back, trailing by 5. Duncan lets it roll and takes a big Cleveland hop. It'll go down to about the 20-yard line. Inside it to the 18. So the Oilers get the ball, but they'll start at their 18-yard line with still a lot of time to play.
I'm going to go back here for a moment to this very controversial play. You see this ball is a backward pass, but at the point where the whistle blows, the ball is dead. And Jerry Seaman has said, even though it was a backward pass, that the whistle blew and therefore the play is dead, and that's why Cleveland didn't get the ball. They did eventually score, but to answer all the questions, that's the explanation.
Pitch back, Alan Pinkett. Browns cut him down. He does squirt ahead for a couple of yards out to about the 23-yard line. 5'8" 190-pound Alan Pinkett having a big day for the Oilers, who went 76 yards in their last possession to come from behind and take the lead as you see it now, 21-16. Game clock down to 9.5 in the 4th quarter. Winner goes on to play the Bills at Orchard Park, New York next weekend in a divisional playoff game, where 80,000 have been waiting for a home playoff game for the Bills since 1965. It won't be quiet at Bridge Stadium. He struck down on a 2nd and 6 play.
Again, it's turned to the Cleveland defense. Eddie
Mike Johnson was the guy who made that hit.
And Bob Golick. Again, it's turned to the Cleveland defense. A loss of 2 yards on the run. Not bad for a replacement running back today for Mike Rozier.
A lot of people are wondering, Trump, about these two teams playing on consecutive weekends to close the regular season and then in the first round of the playoffs. Last time it happened was 10 years ago when the Steelers beat Denver in the last regular season game, then beat Denver again the next week of the playoffs, in the playoffs. It happened 5 times as Warren Moon takes off and gets ahead. They get him short of the first down on a 3rd down and 6 carry. Warren Moon is knocked down. He got 4, and that was a huge tackle by Dave Grayson, who last week in that regular season game popped Warren Moon with a blitz that freed the ball. It was picked up by Michael Dean Terry, and the Browns scored their first touchdown.
Again, the Cleveland Browns defense has done what Dave Adolph wants them to. That is 3 downs and out for the Houston Oilers.
AFC Central standing tall this year with 3 playoff teams. Montgomery stands in, hits a low, and it'll come back at Houston. Here comes McNeil. 45. And out to midfield. So the Browns, who need a touchdown with 7:33 to play, get the ball at midfield, first down and 10, trailing 21-16. Every week, a new Cleveland Brown quarterback seems to be called on to rally them. Last week it was Don Strock. He went out with an injured hand today. Mike Pagel is called on, and Mike Pagel has been superb. He has thrown 11 completions in 17 attempts. He's gone for well over 150 yards and a touchdown, but now he has to bring them from behind again if he can.
Yeah, Don, both of these games between these two teams belong in the time capsule. They have absolutely played to the last ounce of their emotional ability.
Kevin Mack going outside. Browns looking to bounce it outside all day, but those run and stick and Oiler linebackers have cut it down. Robert Lyles, 93.
That time there seemed to be confusion as you look at the possessions the Browns have had. Look where those drives have started. They've had great field position. That time Pagel and Mack kind of ran into each other a little bit. You can understand it with Pagel basically being on the injured reserve list for so long and then being the scout team quarterback this week.
Pagel, who had a fractured shoulder earlier in the season, in good health now. He delivers a hard throw, and he has to, and there's another out pattern as markers go down. Before the snap of the ball, stopping the clock with 7:25 to play.
False start prior to the snap. Number 77 offense, still second down.
Ricky Bolden, who has been called down to start at left guard today for injured Larry Williams. Interesting, the start of the drives, average field position in the second half. Come from behind touchdown for the Oilers, engineered by Warren Moon, who took him 76 yards. Lorenzo White on the payoff end from 2 yards out.
Rakosi still has the ball. The center never snapped it.
And offense, still second down.
Everybody had the snap count with the center.
Sometimes that's an embarrassing situation. Everybody goes but you.
So now the ball is positioned at the 39-yard line of Cleveland. On this possession, the Browns have gotten off one play and have had 2 penalties. Second down and 20. 4 wideouts as they go from the shotgun. Pagel gets time, stands in, delivers a ball to Clarence Weathers that he catches somehow at the 48-yard line. He got back about 9 yards. That'll bring up third down and 11. So Pagel is faced with a big throw here.
Bostic was the man in coverage. They're giving him good time to throw. You see Weathers going down there on Bostic, the strong safety, just turns in and the ball is thrown outside. Weathers does a good job hanging on to that thing. That was a rifle shot. Third and 11 for the Cleveland Browns.
Biner in to block. He picks up the blitz. Pagel stands in, lets it go downfield. Free ball. It is almost picked off. Maybe it is.
It is.
They're going to rule it an interception. Richard Johnson was the man who got it, an extra defensive back, a #1 pick out of Wisconsin 4 years ago, who's yet to gain a starting role. So a tip ball, and Richard Johnson capitalizes, and the Cleveland drive is stopped with 6:30 to play.
This is very close to interference. Very, very close by Steve Brown. Oh, wait a minute. That ball. Here we go again. Are we going to look at this one again? That looked like a nice shortstop pickup. The ball goes off the shoulder pads, and does it touch the ground?
Oh, yeah. It popped.
See if we can pick it up from this angle. Houston is breaking out of the huddle. The replay judge has not intervened yet. Interception stands.
Once the ball is snapped, there's no recourse. No replay. They don't call for it. And here's an end around. Givens trying to go wide. Matthews gets him and throws him down. An all-pro play by an all-pro player, Clay Matthews. Against the fastest Oiler in the open field, Clay Matthews holds his position and then pounces.
The interception is ruled inconclusive from what we were able to show the replay. He's been busy today. He's had his hands full today.
He's not done yet.
The Oilers' possessions in the second half. Not very good. They've had lousy field position too.
Oilers led at halftime, 14-9. Cleveland took the lead, 16-14. Oilers lead it now with under 6 minutes to play, 21-16. Throwing a catch, working hard is Haywood Jeffries. On a 2nd down and 12 play, he only gets ahead for about 4. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cleveland Browns and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, of the Houston Oilers and the Cleveland Browns. All rights are reserved. Oilers with a 5-point lead. 3rd down comes up for them in a long 7, almost 8. Moon, he's going to run for a 1st down. Warren Moon slides to a halt at midfield, but Warren Moon delivers big, busting up the middle with a 13-yard gain. 4 new downs for the Oilers. Game clock still running down to 4:40 to play.
Excellent coverage by the Cleveland Browns downfield. And Moon not afraid to run when he slides like a baseball player, and the ball is dead. Cleveland Browns cannot pick it up. Houston has fought back from so much adversity. Cleveland has played over its head today with Mike Pagel coming in as a backup quarterback. What a game.
Been sensational. It's got a ways to go. 4 minutes to play. Pitch back. Lorenzo White. Last time he had it, he was in the end zone, and he's heading that way again as he's knocked out of bounds. And a marker comes flying in from the umpire, who stands behind the linebackers, and often that's offensive holding.
That's probably offensive holding on the tight end.
Oilers have a new runner in their backfield now. From Oklahoma, Spencer Tillman is in the game. Number 33.
Holding, number 87 offense, still 1st down.
They got Jamie Williams, so thrilled with his first reception in 9 games.
Now there's an official back there whose sole responsibility is when the ball is snapped, you watch the tight end first until the play passes. When that long flag comes in from way back there, you know it's against the tight end.
First and 20 now for Houston as you see the game clock down to 4 minutes to play. White. Boom comes the Cleveland defense led by Mike Johnson, their leading tackler and inside backer number 59.
Cleveland's calling for a timeout. They've got 3.
3:47 left to play.
That is timeout.
And the count
Cleveland.
holds 21-16 Houston. The wild card game continues. Jerry Glanville, the coach of the Oilers, said the words of Dan Rooney, the president of the Steelers, helped inspire his Oilers, and Glanville used those words at a team meeting last night. Dan Rooney said of the Houston Oilers, they've become one of the most physical football teams in pro football, and to play with them, you've got to be ready to hit hard. And he said that's what he called on to summon that hitting and that intensity for one more time. Glanville said you only can get to the emotional peak once a week, and I like to get it up Saturday night and ready to get these guys ready to kill on Sunday. Today he had to do it on Friday night, and they're ready to go.
6 days rest, 2 straight weeks in the same stadium to play like this. Remarkable effort by Houston.
Second down throw to an open Curtis Duncan, and he's very close to a 1st down but short of it. A 2nd down and 17 throw is good for 15 yards.
Took advantage of the double rotation zone. You'll watch Will Hill. He'll stay at the line of scrimmage. He passes off Duncan because there's a receiver coming in his area. And frankly, if Warren Moon throws that ball just a little bit more inside, Curtis Duncan might still be running with it. Duncan got to the sideline before the safety could rotate out there.
An enormous play arises now. Cleveland defense needing to stop the Oilers. Oilers looking to get new downs to run the clock from the shotgun on 3rd and 2. Here's a throw and a catch. And a Houston 1st down as Drew Hill cuts his way down inside the 35-yard line. And down to the 33. So the Oilers maintain possession, and now here's a timeout call, Trump, by Cleveland.
The defense has to call the timeouts to stop the clock. That's the only way they can stop the clock.
That is Cleveland's second timeout. That will be a 40-second timeout.
Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator, counseling Marty Schottenheimer. Tomorrow, NBC Sports World presents a Christmas chance to bring the Browns from behind. It ends today at Cleveland Stadium for the Browns. They're down by 5. Lorenzo White smashed hard. Bob Golick made the play. Game clock down to 3:23 to play.
Cleveland takes its last timeout.
This is Oilers-Browns 3 of this season. Oilers-Browns 1 was at the Astrodome. Houston won it 24-17. 2 was last Sunday when the Browns came back to win to get in the playoffs. And now Alan Pinkett is caught and knocked down. Big Daddy Hairston saved what might have been a big game. Carl Hairston going off with a leg injury, starting defensive end for Cleveland. Big Daddy, they call him, one of the leaders of this team.
Hairston out there to make the tackle. He's got a hold of Alan Pinkett. Can't really see what happens there. Houston has 11 penalties today. Last night Glanville said around 10, and that's when we function best. Well, they've got 11.
Oilers with third down coming up here, Trump. Third down and 9 as the clock starts up again.
And the timeout was for the injury to Hairston. And then they start the clock when he's off the field.
The rookie is in there for him, Michael Dean Perry, who's had a very good rookie season. Cleveland makes the play. Alan Pinkett carried. Dave Grayson ran him down for no gain. That brings up 4th down.
Now they'll let it run down to the 2-minute warning, and then Jerry Glanville has a tough choice. Do we punt the ball? Do we go for the field goal? Not an easy situation.
Both these teams were in the playoffs last season. Denver Broncos knocked them both out on their way to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 23 coming up January 22nd on NBC Sports.
That is a 2-minute warning.
And right now the 2-minute warning is given as the Oilers have to make a decision on 4th down. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy back at Cleveland Stadium, where the Oilers have their long-range punter, small as their long-range place kicker, Zendejas, getting set to try one. He can kick it from ways out. This would be a 48-yard attempt where it's positioned right now at the 31-yard line. It's the line of scrimmage, and if he hits it, Cleveland would be in deep trouble. They couldn't come back with a touchdown to win.
Yeah, but Don, I'm not so sure that you don't put Zendejas out there to at least draw the defense up like it's going to be a field goal and then have him punt it.
He can do that. Good point.
I mean, if he's standing there to come anywhere close, he's going to have a low trajectory. And of course, if he misses, the ball comes back to the 32-yard line. I'd watch for Zendejas here with the fake field goal punt. Let's see what happens.
This will be a 49er, almost a 50-yarder from where the ball is positioned now. He's into it. He puts a charge into it, and Zendejas knocks it through.
Unbelievable.
A 49-yard field goal by Tony Zendejas with 1:54 to play. And that extends the Oilers' lead to 24-16. So unless the Browns can come up with the miraculous over less than 2 minutes to play, the Oilers are heading to Buffalo.
Oh, there was no footing problem. That was a beautiful job. Zendejas started out this season. He made just 4 of his first 12 field goals. And the punter, Montgomery, was the holder. They changed to Peace, the backup quarterback, and he's now made 15 of his last 17.
A check now, Trump, of the grades. The report card, Moon with the big numbers again today. 3 interceptions. But he delivered when he had to, including that 76-yard touchdown drive that his right arm was such a big part of that brought the Oilers from behind. Pinkett with a big day. 2 touchdowns and 13 rushes for 81 yards, replacing injured Mike Rozier. There's Alan Pinkett coming out.
What a performance. Actually, what a performance by both teams. If you'd have told Marty Schottenheimer before the game you got to play 3.5 quarters with Mike Pagel at quarterback, do you have a chance? I think he'd have probably said no. But they have stayed in this game. Pagel's numbers.
Very fine indeed. Man who's called out at the last minute didn't think he was going to play. But Don Strock went down early with a hand injury. So Mike Pagel will get his shot, but he's got to put it in the end zone. Then Cleveland still has to get the ball back on an onside kick and try a field goal. Browns are out of timeouts. If they do score, they'll be forced into an onside kick. Scoring will take some doing as Glenn Young runs it back and comes across the 25-yard line and out to about the 29. Chris Dishman was on the special teams play for Houston. So here comes Mike Pagel, a 7-year veteran from Arizona State who missed much of this season with a shoulder injury, as did virtually every quarterback on the Browns roster. Ozzie Newsome has a long receiving streak that could end today. It's actually a regular season streak, so it could still be alive depending on the official ruling, but the Browns have much more than that to concern themselves with now. With first down and 10, they don't get much. With 1:38 to play, the Wizard of Oz looks on in what might be his final game as a Cleveland Brown after all those great seasons. His 12th year from Alabama. Pagel again stands in, throws up the middle. The Oilers are giving them all they want down the middle because the Browns can't stop the clock. 1:20 to go, and the Browns trail the Oilers by 8, 24-16.
They need to get the clock stopped here. Throw to the outside.
Looking for the out pattern now. Here's a long ball downfield. It is caught at the 40-yard line. They rule it a reception.
Webster Slaughter on the catch. This is the true prevent defense by the Houston Oilers. Going to keep every running back and receiver in front of them.
The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NBC Football is Ted Nathanson. The coordinating producer of NFL Live is John J. Filippelli. Today's game was produced by George Finkel, directed by John Gonzalez, replay producer David Neal. NFL Live produced by Ricky Diamond and Tom Roy, directed by Bucky Gunst and Bob Levy, as the Browns get a strike downfield inside the 20-yard line, but the clock continues to run and they're down by 8. Technical directors Marilyn Altman and Richard Sansevier.
Now what Pagel's got to do is, well, he's not going to do it. I was going to tell him just throw the ball down to the ground. Stop the clock. There he does.
Yep. And our thanks to NBC Chief Statistician Joe Costanza, to spotters John Betchkel and Jeff Modisett, and helping in the booth Don Drebus and Bob Karlovic. Down to 40 seconds to play. Alan Pinkett was the man today as much as anyone, along with Warren Moon. As it's time now for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser, and today's MVP is Alan Pinkett from the Houston Oilers. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of today's MVP. Pinkett congratulated by his teammates after a big day, called down at the last minute. They had hoped Rozier could go, but a rib injury kept him sidelined for all but one play. Pagel throws into the end zone, and it's incomplete, but there's a marker down. It'll be first and goal. Cleveland Browns will make it close, but can they come back?
They're talking, was the ball catchable? I think the side judge and the field judge are asking each other, was the ball catchable? It was underthrown. Slaughter is behind the defensive back, Patrick Allen. I think the ball was catchable. Now are they going to call it on
It'll
Cleveland?
Go to the 1 yard line, first and goal.
You're right. It'll go right to the 1 yard line.
pass interference. Number 29 defense on the 2-yard line. First down. The pass is ruled incomplete.
He wanted to make amends for what he called the worst game of his career last Sunday here at Cleveland Stadium, and that was the reason for his worst game. Webster Slaughter beat him all day long.
This Cleveland Brown team just does not know the word quit, slow down, die, overmatched.
Well, they got to get it in quickly. 35 seconds left. Cleveland with no timeouts. Then they'll try the onside kick.
Ozzie Newsome in the ball game here. They need to score. They need to throw it. They can't run it because the clock continues to run. They need to throw it here.
Throw it they do, and to Webster Slaughter it goes. It is a touchdown for Cleveland. And the Browns are now back to within 2 with 31 seconds to play.
Is this unbelievable?
It'll come down to the final gun. The onside kick is everything.
This is just a little slant pattern run by Webster Slaughter. You can see that Keith Bostic, the strong safety, is the man in coverage, and Slaughter knocks his arm away, gets in the end zone, and Pagel puts it right on the money.
The extra point attempt coming up is insignificant. Browns trail by 2. They have to get the ball back and kick a field goal. The extra point nonetheless is good to make it a 1-point game with 31 seconds to play. Houston 24, Cleveland 23.
You know, Don, it appears that there are a lot of people that have left the stadium.
How about most of them?
This football team used to be known as the Cardiac Kids. They have one last gasp left as you look at the touchdown reception by Webster Slaughter. His second of the day, his second of the second half.
6-play, 71-yard drive in 1 minute and 23 seconds. So Slaughter, who's come back off the injury list with all-pro level of play. Second touchdown today after catching the game winner last week against the Houston Oilers. Every week, every team in the NFL works on the onside kick because you never know when you're going to need it. And Cleveland's whole season comes down to it now.
Absolutely. And of course, the onside kick, when you kick it, you want to kick it along the ground because the receiving team can fair catch it if it's in the air. You try to get it 10 yards. You're going to kick it off from the 35. And once that thing passes the 45, it is all-out assault.
We'll review all of what happened today, and it's not done happening with Gail Gardner on the postgame show immediately following, as the Cleveland Browns send out their fastest players to get down and try to recover the ball. The Houston Oilers send out their hands team. Everybody sure of hand, because that ball is going to come at them like a ground ball on a bad field.
Now, at one point, Matt Barr can kick with both legs. So there's no guarantee that just because he's a right-footed kicker, he's going to kick it to the right side.
The propitious thing to do would be to kick it at least with one leg, not both here. That would be news. They're going to go right. Here's the recovery is set up right. Left, and they kick it down, and it's tipped in the air, knocked around, and knocked out of bounds, and it's Houston's ball, and they'll win the game. Very close to a recovery.
There was a flag thrown there.
They kick to the right side of the Houston return, and those fast Browns who were aligned on that side, sprinting down, almost got to the ball. Someone did tip it, but it goes out of bounds with the clock not starting.
The ball must go 10 yards before it's touched. It goes over Seal.
At 110. He knocked it out of bounds.
Knocked out of bounds. I don't know what the flag is for.
Number 31, receiving team, 10-yard penalty, free kick.
Wait a minute.
Cleveland gets another onside try.
Yeah, but they got the penalty.
Illegally batting the ball against Donaldson. We're not done yet. And if Cleveland gets it, they got time to throw the ball about 3 times to get down in range.
It goes over Seal, Eugene Seal, and then it's kind of up in the air. Cleveland Brown gets his hand on it.
No question that was intentionally batted.
Again, it's a very unusual play. We have illegally batting the ball by the receiving team while the ball is loose. We will re-kick with a 10-yard penalty.
I must admit to you, I've never heard of that one. I have never heard of that one because you've seen players on fumbles bat the ball out of bounds all the time. That's a new one. We've seen it all here. I don't know what that is. But see, it was touched by a Cleveland Brown player.
Coach Glanville is cautioned to keep it down unless more yards be tacked down. Now the Browns will try the onside kick from their 45-yard line. 31 seconds to play in regulation. Cannot bat the ball. 31 seconds to go, and the Browns try again. They'll boot to the right side of the return. Here's another hard drive down. This one goes out of bounds, and this will be the penalty against the Browns, and the Oilers will take over. Ball hopped off the turf and right over the outstretched hands of everyone.
Nobody touched it. Kick out of bounds now. I'm not so sure that the ball doesn't simply be placed at the 35-yard line. What are they saying now?
Bernie Kosar's clapping his hands.
We have a short free kick, illegal out of bounds. By rule, we will go back, re-kick, 5-yard penalty.
Okay, the Browns will take that penalty anytime.
On a kickoff out of bounds, in a normal situation, when it goes out of bounds, the ball is placed at the 35.
Free kick, illegally out of bounds. We will re-kick with another 5-yard penalty.
The ruling, it's a short free kick. It did not travel the needed 10 yards to be a legal free kick. So on a short free kick, it results in a 5-yard penalty against the kicking team, and they kick again.
Yeah, but that went more than 10 yards.
Well, he said no. So at any rate, the Browns are going to keep trying this till they get it right, if they ever do. Still 31 seconds on the clock.
We could be here till Tuesday.
I think we're going to find out pretty quick. You think they might go the other way? Well, they got Gibbons over there.
Well, the ball has to go 10 yards.
Another try. It's up in the air. It's free ball.
That's touched illegally by Cleveland.
I'd wait on that. I'd wait for the officials to tell us.
Cleveland touched that ball before it went 10 yards.
Cleveland might have the ball, though, Trump.
There was a Cleveland Brown player.
A Cleveland Brown, I think, has it.
Yeah, but a Cleveland Brown player touched it before it went 10 yards. That's an illegal touch by the kicking team. But I don't see a flag. I do see a flag
now.
There is a flag.
So I think the sensible thing to do would be to have another free kick, another onside kick.
There's Jerry Seaman with his crew once again.
Let's go for bonus. Go for the record.
You can see exactly where the ball has to go here on the free kick, and you can also see that the ball is touched by a Cleveland player before it gets there. That's where it's got to go before it's legally touched by a Cleveland player. Ball is kicked. It goes about 7 yards. I can't pick up the number.
It might have been touched by an Oiler first.
But it was touched by no, I think it was a Cleveland Brown player. It looked like Will Hill, 35, was the guy who was down there. See if we can pick it up from this angle.
The Oilers come up on the ball. They can touch it anywhere they want.
Yeah, see, there it's touched. There it's touched by the Cleveland Brown player, and this game may never end. Ozzie Newsome appears to come up with the football.
So in a game that has gone back and forth, the Houston Oilers up 14-9 at halftime, down 16-14, then ahead 21-16.
They're going to have to kick it again.
Again, an extremely unusual situation.
They're going to have to kick
We
it
have
again.
the kicking team illegally touching the ball prior to it going 10 yards. Since we have that, following an illegal short free kick out of bounds, by rule, the ball will go to the receiving team at the spot where it was touched. First down.
Coach Glanville is about had it. He's be happy to get out of here with his Long Riders coat, his players, and a 1-point win.
We are definitely on the last page of the rule book.
I think we are.
These last two kicks.
And the Browns are in the last moment of their season as the Houston Oilers jump in jubilation. They have rallied to win in a place that's been awfully tough for them to come away with a victory, and Warren Moon. You have to harken back to that 76-yard drive he engineered when the Oilers were behind in the second half. Alan Pinkett, today's game MVP, scoring 2 touchdowns, rushing for 81 yards in just 13 carries. Called out at the last minute to get the Yeoman's job of running the ball for the Oilers. Mike Rozier couldn't go because of bruised ribs. Browns are powerless to stop the clock.
They go to Buffalo.
So the Houston Oilers head to Buffalo. On which day they'll play, Saturday or Sunday, is dependent on the outcome of the NFC wildcard game on Monday. So Coach Schottenheimer, who's taken his Browns to the playoffs 4 straight years, goes out early this year. The previous 2 seasons, his team, of course, lost to Denver in the AFC Championship game.
But you know, Don, in Cleveland, there's been an awful lot of talk about dissension and the fact that people aren't happy with Marty Schottenheimer and what it's done. In these 2 past games, the Cleveland Browns have shown as much character as any football team I've ever seen, with all of the bad problems with Strock and Kosar getting hurt, Strock getting hurt, and Pagel. Unbelievable performance.
So the Oilers win it 24-23, and the season ends for Marty Schottenheimer and the Cleveland Browns. The Budweiser NFL Report is coming up next here on NBC.